What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome officially to Rockin Robbie Live. That's right, we are back after a little bit of a hiatus. Had a great time. Just resting, chilling, relaxing, getting things set up for the second half of PCP in 2021. How's everybody doing? Once again, station! So happy to be here. This is Rockin Robbie Live. It's the show where we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We have an incredibly exciting show planned out tonight. We've got the DC sneak peek, but it ain't much. We'll be talking about our favorite comic books of last week, what's coming up in comic shops this week. We'll be doing a little bit of Marvel in the 90s. We'll be doing a movie review for a Bruce Lee film, top 5 1985 films, a whole lot of excitement. I see everybody already in here, and it just gets me so excited. This show, though we have a lot planned, is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Get all of them in right now. Let's start the chat. How's everybody doing? I do want to say this, though, that you should check us out at popculturephilosophers.com. There you can download all of our previous podcasts, back when we used to do podcasts before we went more into the YouTube thing and the future of the podcast. That's a conversation for someday. Right? You know what I'm saying? But you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, you might as well join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can also support the channel with Super Chat tonight, which will trigger a Joker video and maybe a Hellboy song, or you can jump on over to patreon.com/PCP and support the channel there, like these fine PCP Patriots right there. What does that get you? Well, it gets you a little bit of exclusive content. Mostly what that is a newsletter that goes along with a downloadable audio file of the weekly comic book review, usually a couple hours before it drops here on YouTube. But there is more exciting things coming that we have planned. So what is up, everybody? How y'all doing? I do want to say this also. I see Twitch in the house. What's up, Twitch? Twitch puts together the official PCP Army playlist. He does it on Spotify and he does it here on YouTube. So you can search. Maybe somebody can throw out some links to the previous Spotify or YouTube playlist. But each month we have a theme. This month we're getting ready for July, which marks 6 years of PCP. More about that later. But I will say this. Its theme this month is Teen Dog Shades Night. Because July is a Teen Dog Shadesy kind of month, if you know what I'm saying. So everything supernatural, spooky, paranormal, aliens, conspiracy, songs that make you think of that. If you want to get your songs selected and picked into the playlist, all you got to do is be on the PCP Army and go to that thread where Twitch has graciously allowed us to go and pick 3 songs. I did do 4.5, though, but I feel like I can do that, okay? My 3 songs that I picked 4, and I suggested another one. I picked Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun by Pink Floyd, No Quarter by Led Zeppelin, Who's There by Smash Mouth, and Motorway to Roswell by the Pixies. You get the theme, you kind of understand, even if it's just best songs to get high and listen to and think about aliens and conspiracies and shit. You know, that's what you do. But anyway, those playlists are dope, and I really appreciate it. It's a cool way for all of us to kind of share our musical taste. We don't talk too much about music here at PCP as much as maybe we wanted to at the time when we first kicked this off. But speaking of kicking it off, what am I drinking tonight? I'm drinking Ricky Tikki. It's a mango-infused double India Pale Ale from Straight to Ale. That's what I'm drinking tonight. I'm trying to do a little bit of different stuff here and there, but, you know, it is what it is. And if I missed your comment or question, just throw it back up there. We got a lot coming up. You know, we weren't very active for the last couple weeks, but we have a lot coming up this week, starting tomorrow night with Comics Revisited. That's right, the return of Comics Revisited. This kicks off Season 3, and it kicks off a new format as well. It will now be a live show with more guests. If you're familiar, we did 40 episodes of Comics Revisited. It's a comic book that we deem classic or worth revisiting, and me and a guest read it, and then we get together and we chat about it, right? And we've been doing them in studio, but I wanted to kind of open this up to the community, have more guests on the show, members of the crew and members of the community, and also involve you directly in a live chat. So this is now going to be a live show, and it starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be talking about New X-Men by Grant Morrison. It'll be me, Brooks, Bryaniac, and Verno from the Cerebros podcast. And this is going to be a monthly show. Expect it on the last Monday of each month. And we have 20 episodes planned for all of Season 3. Y'all, it's going to be good. The episodes are going to be longer. We're going to delve deeper. It's great. Thursday night. You know, Thursday's July 1st. You know what that means? It's the 6th anniversary of Pop Culture Philosophers. Very excited for this. So we're going to be doing, of course, like we do, a 6th anniversary live show. Me and other members of the Excitable PCP crew, we're going to try to get them all on here. That's going to be Thursday night. We haven't figured out the time yet, but if I had to guess, 8 p.m. Central seems to be our Thursday night time. We return with PCP Movie Night on Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, and we kick off Action Fest with a look at the 80s action classics starring Sylvester Stallone, Cobra. Join us for that. And Dylan's Horror Show the following evening. That's right. My return to Dylan's Horror Show. I know y'all missed me over the last 2 weeks, but let me say, I got to say thank you for Dylan, of course, for keeping it going. I got to say thank you for Jay Strick, for Stefan, for TM Nerdy, for keeping the light on for me, if that makes sense. So this week, marking my return, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite trilogies in horror films. And no, it's not The Evil Dead, but we will be talking about Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3. Yes, I know they did 2 more after that, but we're not really gonna be talking about those. So Comics Revisited tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Me and a gaggle of guests talking about Grant Morrison's New X-Men. The 6th anniversary live show is going to be Thursday night. Friday night marks the return of PCP Movie Night and the start of Action Fest 2021 with a look at Cobra. And then Dylan's Horror Show, that's right, my return this upcoming Saturday evening, discussing Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3. And yes, Linnea Quigley is in Return of the Living Dead. So it's a little bit of a Linnea Quigley Appreciation Week. And now let's start with the first 6. You know, Bueller and that guy Bob, they like to do their first 5. They think they're special, but what's better than a first 5? How about a first 6? We're going through my 1991, 30 years, y'all. Marvel Universe trading cards. This is Series 2. This is Blackout. We're on the villains. This is card 82. Blackout. Did you know? And by the way, his first appearance is Ghost Rider, Volume 2, Number 2. Did you know Blackout used to be proud of his handsome face until it was horribly disfigured in battle with Ghost Rider? Yeah, I actually vaguely remember that from when I was a kid. Then we got Calypso. Anybody remember her from the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man days? Hell yeah. Did you know Calypso patterned her costume after the one worn by Kraven the Hunter? No, are you serious? What the hell? Anyway, then we got Ultron, one of my absolute favorite Marvel villains, favorite Avengers villains, and one of my least favorite Avengers villains in the MCU. Did you know, by the way, his stamina's all the way up to to 11. These only go to 7, but Ultron somehow goes to 11. Did you know? At last count, Ultron has redesigned himself from scratch 13 times. It's a lot more now, homie. A lot more now. Then we got one of the best MCU villains right there, Thanos. Beautiful card. Is that Art Adams? That totally looks like Art Adams. That's beautiful. Can I get that like enlarged and framed in my house? Anyway, Thanos, did you know? Thanos is the brother of a member of the Avengers known as Star Fox. Yes, and did you know that Star Fox then went on to star in his own successful series of video games for Nintendo? I'm just kidding, different Star Fox. But you already knew that. I can't get one past y'all, especially with the Bad Batch in the house. And then we got Hobgoblin. I do want to point out that at the time, Hobgoblin was basically Demigoblin, and I freaking loved it. What's better than a dude in a Girl Scout costume and a Halloween mask throwing pumpkins at people out of a purse on a goblin glider? An actual freaking demonic-looking entity that's doing the same thing. So Hobgoblin, did you know? Due to a spell cast by the sorcerer Doctor Strange, the Hobgoblin believes he has the face of a normal human being. Nah, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then to wrap up the first 6, we've got Lizard. It's kind of a weak card, actually, if I do say so myself. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of weak, in my opinion. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Focus camera. That's a weak card. I mean, seriously, when you've got bangers like this Art Adams Thanos put next to this Lizard, look at that, y'all. Focus. Let's will it to focus, everybody. Say station. The power of our station is not enough. Anyway, you get the idea. Did you know the lizard can mentally communicate with all reptiles in his vicinity? No, I actually didn't. Is that true? Is that really true? It sounds like a Stan Lee idea. Is that how it used to be and then they changed it? When's the last time lizard talked to a fucking lizard? Like, when's the last time we've seen that? Jesus. That's that's more interesting than some of the stories we've been getting the same retreaded lizard stories over and over and over and over and over again. Hey, speaking of the other guy's in the house. Everything Comics. Bob, what's up, Bullseye Bob? Bullseye Bob has agreed to be on an upcoming episode of Comics Revisited. Hopefully the one that we have planned for, what was it? October, I think? Maybe we should change it. October should be something spooky. Do I have anything spooky on the list? That's right. I have the list of all 20 things here. But here's the thing. Now that this is a live show, one of the things that we used to do is we went through the first 4 episodes or issues of What If, right? And that's cool, right? To do like a short video about What If. And I think I want to continue that on as a separate thing for me and Brooks to get together and talk about issues of What If, because in this new format, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to tell everybody to get like 3 guests and to tell everybody, come be here on this Monday night so we can talk about this What If issue for 20 fucking minutes. Because how long can you talk about one single issue of What If? So those might get moved out, but I have it here. Is there anything that would be appropriate for Halloween time? Yes, I do see something. If you want to see the list, you just did. But maybe, if you have some patience. I hear things about post-credits here. Whatever. TM Nerdy, one of our great mods here, part of the PCP Army Bad Batch. What's a backlog, bro? By the way, is here, and he says, everybody crush that like button. Come on. Crush it, bop it, top it. I saw Mark Brasington here, too, from the Geeks Unleashed podcast. Him and Jasmine, his partner over there, have been on the show a couple times. They'll be back on the show for Action Fest. So we got some really exciting guests coming up for Action Fest. What's really cool is that we've been doing in 2020. Okay, so we did movie reviews throughout all of PCP. I mean, that's like starting. If you really want to get to the very beginning and origins of PCP, since we're always getting up to an anniversary, and it always makes me get nostalgic about it. But like, we are a movie-centric podcast. For the longest time, and I just never felt like comic books was something that a lot of people would want to know about or would want to hear my thoughts on. So, but once we kind of figured that out, we started taking off a little bit. So now we like to merge it all together. So we still love doing the movie nights, right? So we did movie nights on the channel. We would watch movies and talk about them. Then we did movie reviews. We did Movie Monday. We tried all these things. And then when the pandemic stuff happened and the shutdowns happened, everybody was socially distancing last year, we started doing them live. And I was like, you know what? You guys can do these shows live with me. Like, Brooks, you got a laptop. Jelani, you got a laptop. Brooks actually doesn't have a laptop. He has a laptop, which is very weird. But, you can make it work. And we did. And we've enjoyed the hell out of that because it also brought in the community to be able to chat along with us. And we started PCP Army Back Chat and all that. And it's just been hilariously fun. And now here we are a year and a half into the live PCP movie night experiment, and we can successfully say that it hasn't really worked. We haven't grown necessarily the channel. We haven't grown those videos. They haven't gotten thousands of views. One of them has gotten thousands of views, and it's our biggest viewed, most watched live show ever, which was the Spawn movie review, which happens to be the night that I became a Todd McFarlane fan. My life changed. But we have a lot of fun doing them, and we feel like they're really good for building up the community and just chatting with y'all and just getting together and being real and talking about movies, right? And we just love the concept of PCP Movie Night, so I'm glad that we're continuing it, but it's really cool now because people want to get in on the show. Other YouTubers, comic book creators. We have Joe Corallo on for a couple. We got him planned already for a couple appearances on Horror Fest. That's right, y'all. We planned so far out here. We already have the Horror Fest lineup set, and it is dope. I showed it to Dylan. He got jealous. I showed it to Jay Strick. He's like, those are all bangers. Everybody that's seen the list of what we're doing for Horror Fest this year is like, there's not a dud in that bunch, and I know it. I know it. There were some duds last year. There were some duds. A laptop. So anyway, let's see. Who's all here? What's up, Billy? Hey, Billy, by the way, I really want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to play Oliver Twist on stage. Thank you for the coaching and the encouragement. I do feel like my performances are getting stronger, and I do want to correct or congratulate you on 100 years of theater production. What's up, Fable? What's up, Brooke? Not Brooks. Brooke. What's up, Brooke? What's up, 62 Lefty Blues? My man. What's up, Brad68? TM Nerdy, of course. Tacky616. Twitch, of course. Steve, Eric, Nick from Comic Culture. Big Herm's here from Big Herm Collectibles. James. We already said Bob from Everything Comics. We already said Mark. Hell yeah. Dominique. So, Bob says, so are you going to review another Bruce Lee movie tonight? Yes. Yes, I am. I watched one today. And I have some thoughts. So we'll be talking about Caps on Comics is here. He's going to be one of those people joining us on a movie night, Die Hard, which will be not this upcoming Friday, but the next Friday. So that's super cool. And also he will be joining me on the channel in a conversation with Dank Comics. So I'm excited to have both of those cats. They have great channels and they do really cool work. I've met them on the Wednesday night Tomorrow Cinema Show, the Tomorrow Show. Not going to be one this week because it's Fifth Wednesday, but don't worry about them Fifth Wednesday blues because Travis and him got you covered. They're going to be talking about the writer. They're going to be talking to the writer of like Beast Wars or some shit like that. So, and yes, like Big Herm says, anybody I missed, station. What's up, Derek? Derek, I got a second Facebook request from you the other day. I was like, I think this dude got. Then it turns out you did, so I appreciate that. The same day, I had another friend somehow, for some reason, start a new Facebook and send me. So I was like, what's going on Facebook world? Hey, we got a super chat from Nova69, dudes. It says 10K subscriber giveaway arrived this week. Thank you so much, PCP. Enjoying the content. Bruh, I'm glad you got the prize. I know it probably took a little bit longer to get there in Canada, but very excited for you. There's some really fantastic stuff in there. I hope you really like the John Byrne Superman. And you know what that means. We got Super Chat. Thank you so much, Nova69. I want to hear the audience do it right now. Come on, y'all. Love that Hellboy. Hey, Hellboy, yeah. Huh! Man, y'all sounded really good all together. I swear, I just opened up a window, I could hear y'all. Something like that. What's up, Bueller? We got comics with Bueller in the house, y'all. A genuine celebrity. 20K subscribers. Congrats, my man. By the way, be sure to check out Bob and Bueller on their show tomorrow. The Coffee and Comic Show. The new Coffee and Comic Show. Every Monday morning. One of the best shows on YouTube. Whether it's about comic books or whatever. It's just one of the best shows on YouTube. They are killing it with that show. Plus, yours truly is usually involved in some form or another. Hey, we got it. And by the way, I do want to point out that Nova69 did a 6.99 in Canadian dollars. So that I really do appreciate that. Batman Popstar, PCP for life. Batman is the best. That's arguable, but we do appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, brah. All right, y'all, let's do it together. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters, and he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann BPRD. Ah! Yeah, I'm feeling it tonight. You don't even want to throw them dollars because I am feeling it tonight. What's up, Comics with Bueller? Thank you so much for the super chat, highlighting the idea that Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart is going to be joining him tomorrow instead of Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics. I am very excited to see that. Jennifer does great shows. She just went live. It's like an hour before me with her Casually Chatting Comics, whatever the hell it's called. Fantastic channel. Somebody should check them out. And Jen was on Pop Culture Philosophers. Fantastic show there. We also got Jim Mint in the house. Everybody station for Jim Mint. Station, my man. Jim and me do this top 10 video every single week, and people seem to be liking it. I hope you do if you want to know my top 10 comics and his top 10 comics. But more importantly, if you want to hear two dudes who love talking about comics with each other, talk about comics with each other, you need to check out that video. It's on Jim and Collectibles. Plus, he graciously allowed me to be on his show this last Friday night, talking about Loki. It's spoiler-filled, so it was a great show. But I was on there with Very Gary. I've never met him. I was on there with Comic Tom. It was a grand old time. And Benny from Comistorian was there. And he also streamed the show on his channel. So, y'all, I was on Comistorian this week. That's pretty freaking dope. Yo. Pretty freaking dope. Anyway. Whatever the hell it's called. Yeah. I think I got it right. Casually chatting comics. What is Casually Comics Chat? Casual Comics Chat. What is it? Her and Mars talk about comics. I know. I've seen the show. I watch it sometimes. Come on. Anyway, station for Jim Mint, station for Jennifer, station for Bueller, station for Bob, station for you, PCP Army. You're worth it. Anyway. And we got £3 coming from Mark Brasington. All right, let's do it again. In honor of Action Fest, let me tell you about this little man I know. It's Sylvester Stallone. Whether he is Cobra or Rambo, you know he's gotta go toe-to-toe with the baddest mamma jamma out there. Action Fest is coming this week, and we got lots of fun planned for you, PCP. I mean, you know where we're going, what we're doing, and we're hitting it all on the top tonight. Woo! All right, let's get on with the show. Thank you all for the super chats. We really do appreciate the support here. Thank you so much. See, Jim, every time Jim shows up, it becomes a musical. Me and Jim just can't help ourselves, y'all. I didn't even know Jim was such a musical guy until I started doing these videos with him on a more regular basis. And this dude loves to sing. Let me tell you that. Don't even get me started. I'm going to have to throw in some, oh shit. I'm going to have to throw in some bone. I'll be like, oh, Jim, don't forget, wake up. It's the first of the month. Oh, God, don't get me started. Anyway. Robbie, you got to jump on my guy DJ Lynx's rap battle. Man, I can't. Mom spaghetti. I hate freestyling. I like freestyle musicaling, but I like to write my. I remember one time I was watching Puff Daddy's Making the Band. Y'all remember that? And this dude was really good, but he couldn't freestyle, and so he left so early. And I was like, that would be me. Because if it's for real, in one of those situations where you gotta bring it hard, I fucking suck. Because all I want to do is freestyle about burritos and taking a shit and Hellboy and Rambo. There's Journo Rap. Does he? Journo reminds me of the cat I used to do the basement show with, Kevin. When I was on, what was it? What's the name of that show? Comic Book Canon. It was a really great show, by the way. Journo and I can't remember the other dude's name. They are fantastic. They're cool. I like it. Freestyle comic book reviews. That's what I do, Simon. Let me tell you that. Huh. Oh, they write their own verse? Oh, I could get in on that. I could get on that. I could possibly do that. You know? Me and Jay Strick one time were like, let's do a song. And I was like, let's do it he's like, I want it to be nerdy. I was like, yeah, let's do it nerdy. Let's just make a bunch of references to comic books and pop culture and shit. Which, there are references to some things in my music, but for the most part, my lyrics don't reference that stuff. So we kind of went hard on it, and I think to different levels of success. My favorite bit from that was Green went mean, if you remember that scene. Lots of swagger with the dagger, but it wasn't meant to be. And this be the danger dragon an hour after hour till you're reborn in light and that white tiger power. I just liked it because it was about Power Rangers. I really like that. Green went mean, if you remember that scene. Lots of swagger with the dagger, but it wasn't meant to be. He became the White Ranger. See? Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out. Let's see. Yo, what's up? I'm coming on the scene. I'm about to get mean, like my name was Green Ranger. See, I just took the same rhyme scheme from the shit I just written already. That's the thing. The more you write, the more ammunition you have for freestyles. I don't think that's fucking true, because you always get locked in the same shit. You're like, when I freestyle, for instance, for me, this is just me, I get locked in the same damn rhyme scheme. So if I start with scheme, I'll just keep going scheme, green, mean, lean, team. You know what I'm saying? Like variations of that. And then I won't really think quick enough to switch it to something like truce. Yo, my name is Bruce. Like Bruce Campbell said, getting loose on the lemon fields. Lemon fields? What the fuck's a lemon field? I guess a field of lemon trees? They exist. They have to exist. Otherwise, we wouldn't have so many fucking lemons all over the place, y'all. I'm not talking about curs. I'm talking about actual fucking lemons. They're all over the goddamn place. Lemons are never I never have a problem finding a lemon. It's crazy. Back in the day, people died of scurvy and shit. You couldn't find lemons. You couldn't find limes, oranges, grapefruits. They're all over the fucking place year round now. This world we live in is freaking fantastic. Thank you for reminding me to move the beer over to the table that was purchased gracefully for me. Purchased graciously for me by Mike. Mike, seriously, the week that I spilt the beer, we stopped at Walmart. I had to go pick up something. And he was like, hey, man, this is a TV tray. I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to get it for you. You're going to set it next to you. That's where you're going to put your beer. So thank you for the reminder, Jim. If anybody sees me put the thing there, put the beer down, remind me to put it on the table. Just put it on the table, okay? Also, I'm not using glasses anymore. So if it does spill on the table, less damage. But I will say this. Yeah, I fucked up the mixer. I'll own that. But I also did fuck up 6 of my goddamn Marvel Universe trading cards. The problem is, those things are a little hot nowadays. So I hope I've given away so many extra fucking sets. So when I come calling Brooks, you give me back my goddamn Marvel cards. Seriously, 6 of them are all sticky with beer and shit. Jay Strick's like, I don't know what I just walked into, but Robbie's ranting about lemons. This is what we do here on Rockin Robbie Live. This is what we do. Yeah, Harry, I have to have the beer table now. I made it through 5+ years of never spilling a beer on this mixer. And then I spilled a beer on the mixer, and it fucked everything up for weeks. And it fucked up so much. And it fucked... Y'all, if you notice, put on some headphones and pay close-ass attention, okay? My audio on the last few weeks of the top 10 video with Jim Mint has been the most inconsistent fucking shit. This last time, I literally recorded it into StreamYard to send it to him because I've been getting all these weird crackles and shit. But luckily, we got something that's going to take care of that. So, and I do got to shout out Fargate real quick for helping out with that in a pinch. Hey, Cerebros is here. Speaking of Cerebros, don't forget, y'all, tomorrow night, Comics Revisited. Y'all, let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you, too. We've been planning Season 3 for over a year, okay? So the list has already been determined, and the first episode being New X-Men was always determined, and Brooks was going to be the guest. This is going to be the 3rd time Brooks has reread this fucking book for the episode, because he would read it, then I'd be like, bruh, I haven't had time to read it. We're going to delay it a little bit further. And then I came up with the idea of doing it live. And so when I did it live, I was like, fuck, it's this week. And Brian's been on me. He's like, yo, send me the fucking rundown. I'm like, you don't need a rundown, bro. You're a pop culture philosopher. You're part of the PCP crew. Excitable we are. You don't need the rundown until right before I give it to you. Like let me be honest. On PCP movie night, they don't get the rundown until the day of. Okay? But it's always the same rundown. It's a little bit different with Comics Revisited, but not terribly different. So, but basically, long story short, I read it all last night and today. I crammed every single fucking bit from 114 through 153, whatever the hell it is, plus the annual. I did it all last night and today. So, woo! I got some Now, I've read this book so many freaking times. I probably could have done this episode without rereading it, but we'd be lying if we said Comics Revisited and then we didn't actually revisit the comics. Speaking of which, I have been diving into the comics by Perch this last weekend because I'm friends with Joe Corallo and he's on the show a lot, and I've checked out some work from Perch before, but I listened to their entirety of their retrospective on New X-Men. I think you're going to get a different point of view than what Perch and Joe, and I can't remember the other guy's name, I think it was Larry, than what they thought. And they all have valid thoughts, but I also think they're kind of wrong, because some of their criticisms, as I was rereading it, I was like, you're wrong, they did explain that. Oh, you're wrong, they did do that. Oh, you're wrong, they did. But at the same time, I would highly encourage you guys to check out Comics by Perch if you haven't already. If you like Joe Corallo and his appearances on this channel, he does a lot more over there, and they have a really great channel over there where they really go deep on comics. Stefan says, New X-Men is my jam. Brooke says, recently reread New X-Men and it still holds up super well. So innovative. Brooke, I think it holds up well too. Some things don't age so well. Like for instance, yeah, I'll go ahead and say this because this is a valid criticism, but some things just don't age well. Like Beast's misguided trickstery thing about pretending like he's gay. And it's like, well, I'm already he's like, I'm a mutant, I'm already hated, so I might as well be gay. And it's just like, that's a false equivalency, and it's a misguided tip. However, I will say this, I think Morrison was trying to make the point that it was a misguided attempt. It gets into that. Like Cyclops tells him, no one's going to think this is funny but you. Anyway. Kitten Puke says, I just read Department of Truth while under the influence of mind-altering substances. It's even better. Maybe I should read it without the influence of mind-altering substances. Maybe that would make it different. Maybe then I'd understand what Bueller's always talking about. Hey, look at Travis throwing out the link to Comics by Perch in case y'all didn't know who the hell he was. He's got more subs than we do, don't we? Doesn't he? Surely. Twitch says, I unfollowed Perch. He's a bit too negative for my liking. Really? I don't know. I haven't followed him until recently, but everything I'm into, I'm into. Like first of all, that entire new X-Men retrospective is incredibly negative. Okay, and then I read right after that. I listened to their one on Batman Hush, which was also very negative. But I actually vibe with them on that one. Like, I don't understand why people think Batman Hush is like the greatest Batman story ever. I think it's one of the fucking worst. Like, I am not a fan of Hush. I cannot think of a Batman story that's more fucking obvious than Hush. But Perch also does something different than what we, for instance, we do here. I wouldn't say, from my experience, and maybe Twitch, I'm sure you have more experience than me. Perch doesn't come across to me as a negative type person. Now, I haven't seen much that he likes from my limited experience, but I love him and Joe and the way that they Joe is just Joe is such a cool dude, and it's so great to have a conversation with that guy. And that's why I'm super excited that he's joining us for some Comics Revisited. That I think maybe he'll have but he's always got a good perspective, and I think the same is true with Perch. So, is he too negative? We got 69 people watching right now. How many likes? Do we have 69 likes yet? Let me know when we get 69 likes. Hey, we got a super chat from Two Fat Guys Pool List Station. Let me tell you about this evil villain. His name is Jason, fighting Rambo on the side. Don't you know Hellboy is a giant, crushing beer cans on his horn. The right horn of doom. Don't you know we're in the room and we're making it like it's a Zoom call, boom call. Everybody get ready. You don't even understand what's gonna happen tonight. I think that it's so tight. Love that, Jason. Friday the 13th, part 4 is not the best. Hot take alarm. I think that Friday the 13th, part 5 is better than Friday the 13th, part 4. But no one else thinks that but me. All right, I think I'm running on fumes now, so we're going to have to go ahead and get on with the show and get to the first break, and then I can refuel. You know what I'm saying? Some people said that Perch seems a little sarcastic, a little negative. I'll tell you this. One thing I do know about Perch is that Perch loves comics, and he loves this industry. And when he sees fault in the industry, maybe that gets him frustrated. Am I too negative? Because I consistently bitch and moan and whine about Amazing Spider-Man? Is that negative? I think overall we're a positive thing. We want to focus on positive. The thing is, Perch does something we don't do here, and he wants to cover everything. So when certain things happen that may induce a negative response, I have the luxury of being like, you know what? I don't want to talk about Warren Ellis. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody like Perch is like, I want to cover all the big news, so he's going to cover it. Watching that dude on Twitter has been cracking me up, though, lately. I'm just a watch Robbie loves everything. No, I don't. I get accused of that all the time, Jim. All the damn time. People will be like, I'll get comments. People are like, is there anything you don't like? I'm like, bruh, did you not watch the damn weekly comic book review? Yeah, they're like, I didn't like 6 or 7 of those books. The problem is, I don't go, this book fucking sucked, I hate it. I just go, this book was okay, it didn't really work for me, didn't really vibe it, I'm probably not going to check it out again. And I leave it alone. So maybe people don't really notice that I don't like everything. God damn it, there's even Vault books I don't like. Isn't that crazy? I thought I was getting paid by them. I haven't gotten a check in a few years. Yeah, let's go Bucks. Right now, the Hawks are kind of on top of it. The Hawks are up 28. Here's the thing. Doing Studio B now, I love it. I got my TV on right there. I can see the game. Now, it's crazy. The Hawks dominated Game 1, and then the Bucks just came out of nowhere in Game 2, and now we are Game 3, and the Hawks are up to an early fucking lead. We're 28. 20-8 where I'm at right now, Hawks. Don't even get me started on the Yankees. We had a really good week, and then a really shitty weekend getting swept by fucking Boston. Damn it. You know, a couple years ago, we had a really good team that could put runs together with a series of hits. Now we're back to this fucking home run mentality bullshit. That's not how we win games anymore, especially with the way the pitching's been going and shit. God damn it. The Yankees have been getting on my fucking nerves this year, y'all, and this is not what I was expecting. Perch's always whining about something. I like Perch. I haven't followed him as long as you guys have. I literally just subscribed to the guy. And so far I've listened to a couple of his shows about things with where Joe wasn't on it, and I like them. I think it's cool. I think he's got a good perspective. Taki says, guys, drop a like. Defeat the algorithm. Yeah, the algorithm's always anti-PCP, but don't worry about it. Has Ron V announced anything Marvel yet? Venom. Venom. That's all I can think of right now. Anyway. You know what's crazy is that Perch and Joe just dropped the Action Comics 554, and that was the Gil Kane, Marv Wolfman issue where if Superman didn't exist, someone would have to create him. And it was Joe's recommendation that caused me to check that out and directly caused the new segment DC in the 80s that we've been doing. Big Herm. Big Herm says, in 09, the Yankees went 0-9 and things turned out fine, man. There's still time. Yeah, I know there's still time. And I like that Cashman says that they know what they're doing with the trades. But let me just tell you this, Herm. I'm a Yankees fan just like you. I don't need to hear the typical shit about, oh, we've been like this and I understand. But just like you, when people tell you to stay positive about the Yankees, we can be frustrated. And I am frustrated with the Yankees right now, with the bats in particular. They need to get back. I'm not saying the Yankees need to be about small ball, but you can't just be about the big ball, yo. Don't have DJ LeMahieu on your team and think that he's the only one who's going to be able to do those moves to drive in the runs, right? That's just not how baseball fucking works. This isn't the 90s anymore, and that's not how the Yankees did it in the 90s. They didn't just hit home run after home run after home run. Every run we've been getting has been on the fucking home run, man. That's a problem. We're like, what, 0 and, like, I don't even know the exact number. I wish I did. We're 0 and, like, some bullshit, though. Some bullshit number. We're 0 and some bullshit on runners in scoring position, man. With so many times we have the go-ahead run at the plate, and it doesn't fucking work, man. God damn it. I didn't want to talk about this. God. Yeah. I know, Herm. I was there in 2009, young man. Hey, Dodgers are playing the Cubs right now. That's going to be good. I was going to have that on the TV, but I wanted to be indoctrinated with Space Jam New Legacy commercials tonight out the peripheral of my brain. Peripheral of my brain? Works. I guess it works. All right, let's talk about comics. 0-11. That's some bullshit, Batman Popstar 23. There is no crying in baseball, but there's yelling. There's anger, my friend. All right, let's talk about comics. What was your favorite comic book last week? What was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was this gem right here, Wasted Space number 21. This is the start of the final arc of Wasted Space. Now, I've known that we've been coming to this point, and I'm still just as sad. Wasted Space is one of the most underappreciated, undervalued, and one of the absolute best comics out there on shelves right now. Wasted Space is Preacher in space. It's Preacher meets Star Wars, okay? There's only 5 more issues, 4 after this one. This is the start of that final arc. It goes to issue 25. This book is fucking brilliant. Michael Morisi dealing with philosophy, dealing with political things. Like, there's a moment in here where Billy shouts at these 2 opposing governmental figures on this planet, and I want to say verbatim the same fucking shit to our leaders here in the United States. It's about honor. It's about trust. It's about friendship. It's about betrayal. It's about humanity. This book is crazily so on point with its exploration on human thought, action, and regret, okay, and desire. This book is on spot thematically the entire damn time. At the same time, it is an irreverent, crude, and rude, and in-your-face, balls-to-the-wall, action, slam-bang, sci-fi adventure. And it kicks off the final arc in magnificent form with hitting all of those thematic bits again, hitting all of that irreverency again, as well as leveling up the intensity, the sense of dread, the pacing, and let's talk about the art. The artist is Hayden Sherman, who was my artist of the year a couple years ago. And for good fucking reason. They have leveled up. You are watching in the pages of Wasted Space Hayden become a better artist each and every single issue. Look at that composition. Look at that layout. That's a planet of giant monsters. And notice how we're led through the journey of the ship, through the panels, into the crazy chaos that's there. Look at that. Really interesting stuff. Why is that in the shape of a pill? It makes sense when you read the book. It supports the thematic material of the book. Let's talk about the line work. The line work is deep, rich, and textured. Lots of detail there. And the line work, which some people find to be too raw, too rough, I think has gotten more organic as Hayden's career has progressed. And then you add in the amazingly rich, textured coloring of Jason Wordie. And then the so purposeful lettering of Jim Campbell. Wasted Space is one of the best. I love the use of negative space within Wasted Space. I love the use of chaotic space in Wasted Space. And just great tricks of composition and layouts that are so innovative and provocative with a story that's innovative and provocative as well. Wasted Space number 21 was my pick of the week. If you're reading Wasted Space, let me know what you thought about this issue. And also, what was your favorite comic book last week? What was your pick of the week? Sometimes I hit the wrong button. Bread68 was Stray Dogs number 5. That was my number 2 book of the week. It was going to be my pick of the week, and then I read Wasted Space, and it was just the composition set it over. But, dude, it was so close. Stray Dogs number 5 was amazing. I keep telling Jim Mint, that you gotta read it. It's so fucking good. All right, I'm backing up a little bit so I can see what y'all's pick of the week was. All right. Taylor says, Stray Dogs number 5. Brooke says, Robbie, make a video review of some Transformers, dog. Wait, like the comic book? Derek says, Swamp Thing ends within 6-ish months. Amazing is maybe doing a filler. Oh, don't tell me I would love Ron V to be the new writer on Amazing Spider-Man. Easy Reader, Gamma Flight. Really? I did not like Gamma Flight. That's cool that you liked it, though. Two Fat Guys Pull List says Sword number 6. Some great Dr. Doom in Sword number 6. Not my Space Jam, Lewis, right? Batman Popstar 23 says Batman Reptilian. That was Jim Mint's pick of the week. Rod says Stray Dogs number 5. Nova 69 says Spawn's Universe. Brooke says Giga or Something is Killing the Children for me last week. Both great books. Big Herm says Stray Dogs and Something is Killing the Children. Dominique says Black Hammer Reborn. I still haven't read it yet, but I finally got my copy, so I'm going to read it. Simon says Beckstar. Speaking of Joe Corallo, that book was awesome. I loved Beckstar number 2. Missing Link says Giga. Man, I'm loving that you guys are loving Giga so much. Giga's really good. It deals with some complex themes in a complex way. That book really blows me away. Alex is killing it. Brooke says, I've read the first 3 volumes of Waste of Space. I'm just going to wait until it's finished and read it all. Hell yeah. Tacky says, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 18 and Mike Grell's Green Arrow. Rod says, Shadecraft number 4. Best issue of Shadecraft yet. That shit was awesome. Reverse Amoeba says Stray Dogs 5, Spawn's Universe, and Something is Killing the Children were all great. Twitch says Stray Dogs number 5. Got my It cover today. The Shining cover should be here by Wednesday. Awesome. You know, I haven't been able to get all the exclusive covers. Brian did hook me up with the Carrie cover by Ramon Villalobos. You notice how crazy Stray Dogs, especially those variants, have gotten? They are worth a little bit of money. Just saying. Punk Karma Geek says Vinyl number 1 was a nice surprise. I really liked Vinyl number 1. I thought it was a really solid week. Jim had trouble making his top 10, but I read a bunch more indies, so I had no trouble because I had to leave things like Vinyl off. Fable says, I'm a bit behind, but I've been picking up Wasted Space on your recommendation, Robbie. Station Fable. Let's see here. Beckstar had some great coloring as well. Yes, I do agree. Paul says, Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary was fun, but Something is Killing the Children 17 was great. Taylor wants to know, did you pick up the Sumerian the Frost Giant's daughter? Gory goodness. I have all 3 issues over there, but I haven't read them yet. Open the Cyclonus? It will happen one day. If it happens tonight, who knows? Rod says worst of the week was Checkmate. You know, I don't want to be too negative, but that was probably, yeah, you're probably right. That Checkmate books, it's, okay, especially after reading Infinite Frontier, where they're reinstating the DEO and Bones and Chase are there. Like, they're already undoing this shit. And this book is so delayed. Now it's like, okay, now we're going to put it out. And it's so inconsequential and nobody fucking cares. I don't. Cerebro says, we're rough week for the big 2. It was. Hey, Patrick's in the house. Yeah, Patrick, what's up? I love watching your show each week, and when you finish today, I'm going to get into my Hitchcock box set that I got the other day. I saw you post that in the PCP Army. Thank you so much for contributing all the time to the PCP Army. What's all in the box set? Is it like every fucking thing? Because that's dope, bro. Tyler, I'm catching up on the last week's books, but still have been reading Superior Spider-Man, which is really fun. Hell yeah. Wonder Woman 69, nice. Brooks says those Stray Dogs variant covers are insanely cool. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, it seems like people suddenly realized the book was option or making a mad dash. It's also just like more people are starting to talk about it. Like, that's a book that the orders keep going up. That's a rarity. So when something like that happens, pay attention. Unfortunately, it's over now, but there is still a one-shot coming, as Tony said when he was on the show with us. Paul says, Black Hammer Reborn was good. Hey, Chaos is here. What's up, Chaos in Comics? Which was delayed? I have no idea what you're talking about there. Mark, I bet you're tired. It's got to be like 4 in the fucking morning there. Why are you still awake? What's wrong with you? Hey, we hit 69 likes. Hell yeah. Station. That's dope as hell. Went to a show in Akron, Ohio. It was cool. Okay. Paul says Blue Flame 2 was a good under-the-radar book. I agree. That I thought the second issue really helped it out. And Brett says, I know it's older, but I picked up the first 4 Coffin Bound. Coffin Bound's a really crazy book that I love. I think it's freaking amazing. All right, now let's take a look at what's coming up in shops this week. Real quick, if you want to know what's coming up in shops, you got no better choice than go over to Comics with Bueller, subscribe, and check out his show every Wednesday morning where he talks about what's coming up in shops the next week. We're going to start with Image Comics. We got a banger week from Image Comics. Station, Jamie, how are you doing? Nice to see you. From Image Comics, we have Crossover number 7. We have Department of Truth number 10. I told you it was a banger week. We got Made in Korea number 2. Monstrous number 35, Outcast by Kirkman in a book. Oh, it's one of the hardcovers. Okay. Spawn 319. Hell yeah, I'm always down for that. Hey, that Texas Blood returns with issue number 7. That was a long hiatus. Two Moons number 5. Walking Dead Deluxe has got some reprints. In case they haven't printed these issues of Walking Dead enough. From Dark Horse Comics, what do we got? We got Far Cry, Rite of Passage number 2. Parasomnia number 1, Witch's Lament number 2. From IDW, we have Kanto and the City of Giants number 3. That's the final issue of that series, which is leading into Kanto volume 3. Chained to the Grave number 4, the penultimate issue. What else? And Marvel Action Captain Marvel number 4, Marvel Action Spider-Man number 3, My Little Pony Transformers 2 number 3 with the Tony Fleecs cover, Star Trek Year 5 number 21, Transformers Beast Wars number 5, and Usagi Yojimbo, the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy, continuing the Color Classics type vibe. Let's see here. From Marvel Comics, we have Avengers Mech Strike number 4. We have Beta Ray Bill number 4. A Black Cat annual. That's tied into the Infinite Destinies thing. And yes, y'all, it'll be ready for next week. My Black Cat by Jed McKay review, as demanded by the PCP Army. I'll be getting caught up on that. This week, we got Black Widow number 8, Black Knight Curse of the Ebony Blade number 4, Cable number 11, Daredevil number 31, Eternals number 5, Giant-Size Spider-Man Chameleon Conspiracy, because in order for him to hit issue 75 exactly for his finale, they got to add in all the... Now it makes sense why they add in all this bullshit rubbish. But yes, a giant-size finale to an insignificant Spider-Man story. Joy. You can tell how excited I am. Shang-Chi, number 2. Star Wars Dr. Aphra, number 11. Star Wars High Republic, number 6. The Marvels, number 3. United States of Captain America, number 1, just in time for the 4th of July. Next week's 4th of July, everybody. Are we still doing the show? Yeah, we are. X Factor number 10, Hellfire Gala nonsense. So there you go. From Dynamite, what do we have? Vampirilla number 21. Yep, that's what we got. From Boom Studios, we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Tea Time number 1. It's a series about Giles. We have Dune, House Andreides number 8. Power Rangers Unlimited, The Edge of Darkness, number 1. That's by Frank Gogol, writer of Suburban Kids. Spectre Inspectors, number 5. We Only Find Them When They're Dead, number 7. And from other publishers, we got some exciting books, especially from Vault. We got Barbaric, number 1. This is going, go ahead, anybody, if you want to do a pick the pick, it's going to be Barbaric. I guarantee this, okay? Barbaric, number 1. I've already read it. This book is fucking awesome. You guys have to read this. It's by Michael Morisi and Nathan Gooden. Michael Morisi is the writer of Wasted Space. So that's probably going to be 2 picks in a row. But, maybe one of these other books will surprise me. But I've read Barbaric number 1. And, if you're a Conan the Barbarian fan, you got to check that book out. Autumnal number 8. That's the final issue. Blade Runner 2029 number 5. Blowtorch number 2. By the Horns number 3. It's about a woman whose lover was killed by unicorns. And now she hunts down and kills unicorns. It's great. Chess number 2, Cult of Dracula number 4, Darling number 1, that's a new one from SourcePoint Press, Girls of Dimension 13 number 2, Gung Ho Anger number 2, Honor and Curse number 12, Money Shot number 12, Red Room number 2. If anything can usurp Barbaric as maybe what could be the pick of the week, it could be that. Redemption number 5, They Fell from the Sky number 5, Undone by Blood, Other Side of Eden number 4, Vampire the Masquerade number 9, White number 1, Witchblood number 4, and You Promised Me Darkness number 3. Now the question I will ask you, what comic book are you most looking forward to coming out this week? DC's only got 3 books coming out. We'll be talking about those when we get back from the break. But I want to know right now, what are you most looking forward to? What is your anticipated book this week? For me, it's Barbaric. It is awesome. Y'all, you're going to love it. Trust me. If you ever trusted me on a book, read Barbaric. But you can't be offended by anything, okay? But what if Conan was cursed to live the life of an immortal, but he always had to help anybody in need, and he also had a talking axe guiding him? That once he starts killing people, the more he kills, the drunker on blood the axe gets, and the more, you know how it gets when you're drunk on blood. Anyway, we're about to take a quick break here on Rockin Robbie Live, but when we get back, we got a lot more excitement, so just have some patience. Go get a drink, get a smoke, do whatever you need to do, and let me know what book coming out in shops this week are you most excited for. We'll be right back. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. In particular, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night, June 27th, 2021 to be exact. We're rounding out the end of June, and we're the whole first half of 2021. We're already halfway through this year, y'all. It seems like just yesterday, I was like at the grocery store, everybody's freaking out buying toilet paper. This year has flown by, y'all, in particular because we've been having a great time here at PCP. So thank you so much for being a part of the Pop Culture Philosophers Army. That's right. And if you want to make it official, you can do so at the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook page. Might as well follow PCP on Facebook and on Instagram as well. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. I rarely post there because Twitter is just, I think social media is bad for humanity, and I think Twitter's just like the fucking worst. You know what I'm saying? But I am on there occasionally. So if you want to tag me in something, I always am there to respond, and that's where I get to communicate with a lot of people too. The problem is, when you want to be plugged in, you got to be plugged in, but just remember to unplug sometimes, y'all. Eyes above, not eyes within, if that makes sense. Not eyes within your computer, but eyes above out. Anyway, you can support us over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP Patriots right there. Unlock exclusive content, early access, things like that. You can check us out at popculturephilosophers.com. All that stuff and more. What's coming up here on the channel, though? We got lots this week. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a break, but we are no longer on a break. Starting tomorrow night, we're kicking it off with Comics Revisited Season 3. We're going to be talking about Grant Morrison's new X-Men. It's going to be me, Brooks, the Brainiac, and Verno from the Cerebros podcast. That is a live show. We're going to be talking about the full entire run, spoilers involved, because it's like 20 years old now, which is making me feel a little bit old. But that's going to be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Thursday night, probably at 8 p.m. Central Time, we're celebrating 6 years of Pop Culture Philosophers here on YouTube. That's right, Pop Culture Philosophers 6th anniversary live stream. Join me and the excitable PCP crew. That'll be Thursday night. Friday night, we return with PCP Movie Night after a 2-week break, kicking off Action Fest 2021 with a look at the 80s Cobra. That's right, the Sylvester Stallone classic. Dylan's Horror Show. I return this Saturday on Dylan's Horror Show with a review of Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3. Lots of excitement. So, before we left, we did have a super chat. You should get caught up on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, says Twitch. So thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, yeah. Whoa, 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 la da da da, la da 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 da, Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it all destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit! And he fights with the man who's the fish named Dave. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz, and an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. BPRD. Ah! All right, I asked you before we left, what comic coming out this week are you most looking forward to? For me, it was definitely Barbaric, and I am just telling you that book is going to be... Come on, there you go. So let me find where everybody starts talking about it. Rod says, Barbaric, I can't wait. Brooke says, man, this week is going to be stacked. Those DC annuals, I'm not doing. Well, Rod, there is one that I think is worth doing if you're following that main run. and I will talk about that coming up. Fable's barbaric. Hell yeah. Oh, y'all gonna love it. Eddie says, it's a toss between Department of Truth, crossover, Red Room, and Beta Ray Bill. A stacked week in comics. Tyler says barbaric. That cover A looks sick. Derek says barbaric. Yes, and the variant cover, or one of the variants, is an homage to Conan the Barbarian #1, Barry Windsor Smith, right? Is it? Yeah. It's B-Dubs S, right? It is, right? Easy Reader says the Beta Ray Bill. TM Nerdy says, I'm always looking forward to Beast Wars, but I am looking forward to Infinite Frontier Secret Files. Holy shit. I didn't grab a copy of that. Fuck. All right, well, that's not something we're going to get to see on the DC sneak peek. Nova69 says Department of Truth. Rod says, I'm going to go smoke. Yeah. Josh says, Midnight Western Theater. Dominique says, Red Room 2 or Beta Ray Bill #4. Yep. Twitch says, my wife says, sir, it sounds like you have experience with being drunk on blood. I'm a little concerned. Don't be concerned about me. You don't like blood wine? Bob from Everything Comics says, Beta Ray Bill, Daredevil, of course, and Kanto, the City of Giants. Hey, Bob, what's better, Kanto or Daredevil right now? It's a question for you, young man. The Buffy guy. Hey, a fellow Buffy guy. Station. Beta Ray Bill is a fun ride. Hell yeah. Paul says, Red Room 2 or Barbaric #1 are probably the books, but Catwoman Annual by Ron V has an outside chance of being a banger. Outside? It's Ron V. Come on. It's definitely going to be one of the best DC books. I cannot believe I forgot to grab DC. I even had a list in my head. I'm so pissed off that I got the Teen Titans Academy yearbook, but I forgot to grab DC Infinite Frontier. Secret Files. Jesus. All right. Anyway. Guess I'll read that tomorrow. Okay. Where are we at? Jeff says, Beta Ray Bill in Autumnal's conclusion. Flies in the Vaseline we are. Sometimes it blows my mind. Billy, how'd you know I was listening to STP at work this week? Thought I was drunk on blood once. Ended up getting... Oh, shit. Glad I didn't finish that comment. What's up, though? But James, I feel you. Cerebro says, Red Room #2. Hell yeah, bro. I'm glad you liked the first one. Because when I made that my pick of the week, I was like, okay, this book's not going to be for everybody. And some people read that book, and they were like, this book was disgustingly filthy. And I was like, I told y'all it wasn't going to be for everybody. Taki says, going with Autumnal. Hell yeah. Bob says, the picture of everything else, the final issue, is taking forever to come out. What about the 3rd issue of Dark Interlude? I had a comment on on a video asking about that. No, I don't know what's up. It's just... Vault always seems to be getting behind when it comes to the White Noise books. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Radio Apocalypse got delayed. But Giga #4 took forever to come out. So, yeah. I think what happened was that Vault was like, we waited long enough on White Noise Wave 2. We're just going to go ahead and put them out. Even though they're not ready. You got to have leeway time nowadays, yo. You got to. But don't worry, Bob, because when it comes out, you know it's going to be worth it. Billy says, the PCP Army, my next project is a production of Cats with Robbie Bueller as my leads. Nice. I like that. I was really hoping you were going to go Jesus Christ Superstar because I really want to do Judas. I think he has the best songs in that whole thing. I'll be honest. All right, I'm just going to drop down a little bit because we got another super chat. New screen name, PCP Army. Used to be artist ATMD Station. What's up, Empire Comics? Thank you so much. Hey, yo, ha. So the other day I thought of a comic story, and I decided that I needed the bestest motherfucking villain that Marvel's got. But Dr. Doom was busy, so I got Thanos. Thanos is throwing rocks at Hellboy's shoulders. He doesn't think that this will make him any bolder. I don't know what's going on. I'm just rambling on. Let me tell you, everybody, you never heard this before. Look at Thanos throwing rocks. What's he gonna do? At the same time, that's a giant Hellboy. We need someone to come through and save us. Someone bigger than Hellboy. His name is Blade. Look at Blade just gobbles up them rocks. Ain't doing nothing. And what's up with Thanos and this infinite creation of rocks? I love it. I'm just entertaining myself right here. All right, let's see. Bob's answering the question. I plead the fifth on that question, asking whether he likes Daredevil or Kanto better. He goes, story-wise, I think I'm looking forward to Kanto more right now, just being honest. Bob, I think your answer is Kanto then, my friend. I mean, what if Marco Cicchetto did an issue of Kanto, bruh? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? What happened to Decorum? One issue left. August, I believe. Last I looked, it was August. As Twitch says right there, yeah. Write a verse about Decorum. It's a simple story, reaching for the glory of innovation. Mike Huddleston was snubbed by the Eisners. He got a nod for best cover artist, but he didn't get a nod for best artist. It makes no sense. That is why the book is so worth it, because it's a rather simple story told in a complex way. Something that Hickman has done many days before. Don't you know that's how we roll? The best part of Decorum that makes it rise above is the art by Mike Huddleston, and he got snubbed by the Eisners. There you go. Hey, what's up, Dylan? From Dylan's Horror Show Station. By the way, don't forget, y'all, Dylan's Horror Show. I'm back this Saturday night with a look at Return of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead 2, and then Return of the Living Dead 3. I'm so excited. In fact, Jamie, tonight, you want to watch Return of the Living Dead 2? Station. We're going to watch Return of the Living Dead 2 tonight. What's that? Did he just say making fuck? just doing the same bits. What's up, everybody? Damn, I'm having fun tonight. What's up? Yeah, anybody looking forward to that new Donny Cates book, Vanish? Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to it. Let me tell you why. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman doing something allegedly in the vein of what the Image guys were doing in the early 90s. So here's what I expect. Ridiculousness, legs, hair, muscles, tits. Let's see, what else? Superheroes, goofy, gaudy, ridiculous, badass, dark, edgy. Yeah, I'm excited. Are you? I'm fucking pumped. I'll tell you that. What's up, Robbie Bateman? In the house tonight. Everybody, station for Robbie from Earth 2. We're having fun tonight, man. Screw the rest of the show. Let's just sing. Whatever. Let's see here. Robbie, have you ever seen Shogun Assassin? If not, I will send you the movie tomorrow. If you'll review it with me, I would be interested to see what you think of the movie. I've never seen it, and sure, yeah, I'd be down for that. I assumed you meant Donny Cates and not his Spanish cousin Denny Cates. I'm so freaking pumped to do Return of the Living Dead 2. Oh, look at the Bucks trying to come back up. They're only 4 points down now. 50-46 Atlanta. You would think that I would be an Atlanta fan because Atlanta's the closest NBA team to me, right? But I'm not. I am a Lakers fan and a Heat fan, but I am for some reason rooting for the Bucks here. Why? I don't know. It's probably be a better story for the Hawks to win and to go on and win it all, right? No big superstars at the beginning of the season, kind of put it together. What's that dude's name? Trae Young, fucking fantastic. But I really think the Bucks and Suns will be really good. And let's just be honest, man. I'm so happy. I don't really necessarily want the Suns to win, but like I hate the Clippers even more. So like I'm kind of excited. I watched that game at the end last night, and I was just so happy. I was so happy. I was reading New X-Men. I looked up. I was like, oh, Paul George is sad. Don't worry, Lakers were way sadder. We're sitting at home watching. Anyway. Yo, Robbie, can you do the American Werewolf in London review, please? Ugh. We are doing a werewolf movie for PCP Horror Fest. It's not time to reveal the lineup because we're just about to get started with Action Fest, but that is not on it, but it has the potential to be involved in Horror Fest. So I don't want to say any more than that, but I think in conjunction of Dylan, with Dylan, we possibly can get it done. I've already suggested it. Basically, okay, I'll go ahead and tell you. We're doing The Howling, which is a great werewolf movie from 1981. And I told Dylan that the following night on his channel, we should do An American Werewolf in London, which is the other amazing werewolf film from 1981. So that's the plan. It's on Dylan now to officially want to do that, but I think that's what he should do. But that is also, yeah, anyway, that's the idea. It's a mix of the first two movies. What are you talking about? Robbie, did I ever check out the new Candyman trailer? I did not. I did not check out that new Candyman trailer. I need to do that. By the way, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, because right now we got Twitch in there, getting suggestions for the July PCP Army playlist. He puts together a playlist here on YouTube and on Spotify each and every month. And everybody from the PCP Army gets to throw out 3 suggestions that get added to the list. And we have a theme every month. And July's theme is Teen Dog Shades. So that means we got to do a Teen Dog Shades, right? Night. Anyway, I got my picks involved already, so y'all do it. Songs about the paranormal, about conspiracies, about otherworldly things, songs you like to just get high to or drop acid to, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what a Teen Dog Shades night is. For instance, my picks were Set the Controls to the Heart of the Sun by Pink Floyd, No Quarter by Led Zeppelin, Who's There by Smash Mouth, and Motorway to Roswell by the Pixies. So you get it. Yeah, Dylan, those 2 werewolf movies go hand in hand. That's why we need to do that 1-2 punch. Yeah, Jamie, there's a new Candyman coming out, produced by Jordan Peele, and it's got, I cannot remember the dude's name, but he's the guy that was in Watchmen. Have you ever seen the Watchmen TV series? He's the guy that played Dr. Manhattan, right? And he also played Black Manta. By the way, if you have seen Aquaman and you haven't seen that Watchmen series, spoilers. Yeah, they do, though. Tyler says, I picked up Ghost Rider Punisher Wolverine today, drawn by John Romita Jr. Seems like an old-school Savage Avengers. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about doing for Marvel in the 90s. By the way, we do have a Marvel in the 90s tonight. All right, Robbie from Earth 2, let's see what you got to say here. With all the recent excitement that Donny Cates gave Thor and Venom with these last 2 runs, do you see him bringing the 2 together in some sort of culmination in the future? He did, and it was at the end of King in Black. when Venom lifts Mjolnir. So he did. But the thing is, his Thor run is still relatively fresh and new and starting out. So here's what's more interesting. And here's something that's a little bit more done, but a little bit more traditional. He's about to take over Hulk. Thor and Hulk. Yeah, that's good. By the way, Donny Cates recently on Twitter admitted to liking all of the Fast and Furious movies. Just saying that. Because I think they're pretty fucking good, y'all. I'm going to be honest. I've watched 6 Fast and Furious movies now. I had only ever seen the first one. And for some reason, last year, we were talking about Fast and Furious 9 coming out, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, and in Action Fest next year, we're doing all the Fast and Furious movies. Like, I drunkenly said that one night. Well, I keep my word for the most part. And so this year, we're wrapping up Action Fest with a look at all of the Fast and Furious movies, including the newest one that just debuted this weekend. Which I haven't seen yet because I'm not quite caught up yet, but I'm almost there. Like, I've been watching these movies. I thought I would have to start so early to be ready for August because I thought they would be a sludge to get through. No, I'm loving them. They're so stupid and ridiculous, but I'm having so much fun. And Jelani made this big old... Let me just go ahead and call my bruh Jelani out. Jelani, okay, it's one thing to be like, you know what, bruh? I'm busy this night, or I'm not into those movies, so I don't want to do it. All right, just tell me, and we end it. All right, no problem. And Jelani did that. He was like, I don't want to do the Fast and Furious movies. I was like, it's okay. And so he just feels the need to be a fucking drama queen about it in the PCP Army Facebook group. And he's like, I've tried so hard, I just can't do it. Making a big, whole operation. Bruh, it's okay. We got Jay Strick, we got Manny, we got Brooks, we got me. We good, man. We got plenty of us like Fast and Furious. In fact, Donny Cates, if you're out there listening, if you want to join us, please do. Please do. For real though, Jelani, being a drama queen. And here's the thing. This is my only comment I gotta say about this for now. We have done some movies, okay? I have seen Jelani mention how much he loves the Masters of the Universe movie, which, by the way, I do too, from 1987. That being said, I'm going to be on an upcoming episode of Geeks Unleashed. That's all about that, and I'm glad they came to me because. Come on, I'm your 87 Motu expert. Come on, man. So I've heard Jelani tell me he loves that movie and that Bloodsport's one of the greatest films he's ever seen as well. And I agree. Okay, I've seen him say things like Mortal Kombat's the greatest video game movie ever made. I've heard him say things about these movies that are just ridiculous but fun. I've heard him give a positive review to Street Fighter with Van Damme, because so have I. Why is Fast and the Furious his line in the sand? Like, out of all the shit movies that Jelani has watched and will continue to watch, why is Fast and Furious the one? Why is Fast and Furious we deemed to be the Nickelback of movies? I don't get it, but whatever. I mean, I was the same way. I never watched them either. I only ever watched the first one. But I'm telling you what, 2 was better than 1. 3 was pretty cool too. 4 was awesome. 5 was dope as shit. 6 is okay. We'll see what happens with 7, 8, 9. And I really have always wanted to see that Hobbs and Shaw movie because that trailer looked really good. And Derek says, I saw He-Man in theater. It's horrible. It is horrible. It's a horribly terrible movie that me and Jelani love. That being said, why is Fast and the Furious the line in the sand? Oh, Bateman, I'm not. I'm watching Hobbs and Shaw. I'm down for that. Because they're like, we got to watch 9 movies. And I was like, no, 10. You got to watch 10 movies. Everybody's like, they get so crazy about this. We're doing 2 giant ones in Horror Fest. We already know this. We're kicking it off with Hellraiser, all 10 movies. And we're ending it with all 12 Halloween movies. And everybody's like, there's too many movies. I'm like, we're the pop culture fucking philosophers, y'all. You're the PCP crew. Excitable we are. Be excitable. Watch these fucking movies. Masters of the Universe was Howard the Duck level of bad, says Twitch. Well, people love Howard the Duck, and I don't. That being said, you can like a bad movie. Just occasionally say it's a bad... I mean, here's the thing. Jelani loves bad movies. He's willing to watch bad movies and love them. He like that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cyborg by Van Damme is one we want to get to. Like, we love watching bad movies. Like, why is Fast and Furious that's too fucking much. Like, it's so crazy to me. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. All right, let's talk about comics again. It's time for the DC sneak peek. There's not much of one, y'all, because I forgot to get the Infinite Frontier Secret Files. But I like doing the little bit with a. By the way, I follow this YouTube channel on the Dallas Cowboys, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but they use that exact same music because it's royalty free shit. It's funny. Teen Titans Academy 2021 yearbook. All right, so I was done with Teen Titans Academy, and then DC literally is putting out just a handful of books this week. One of them is the Infinite Frontier Secret Files, which I forgot to grab. Don't worry about that. But so I read this. What this is it's got a couple little short stories about other characters in Teen Titans Academy. Here's the problem is I like to compare this to Strange Academy because they introduced new characters and made us care and organically did it. They have to keep just like shoving shit in. And that's what this is. This is just kind of shoved in. Now, there is a bit of a reveal, I think, about the Red X stuff at the end. But honestly, at this point, I don't care. And I was done with this book already. And then they came out with this on a very light week. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just read it. And it was okay. It had bits in it that were decent. But at this point, I just don't care. I'm so disconnected from it. Then we got the Green Arrow 80th anniversary special. This was pretty solid. So it's one of those 100-page super spectaculars. It's got the first story by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez. The art is fantastic and it feels very golden age. That was cool. Punching Evil, a story by Nicola Scott and Tom Taylor. I really like that one. That felt a bit Silver Agey. Who Watches the Watchtower? Stephanie Phillips, Chris Mooningham. I'm a big Chris Mooningham fan, so I thought that was a cool story, and it fit very much like a Neil Adams, like, not that he was more known for Batman at the time, but it felt more like that Neil Adams kind of vibe from the Green Lantern, Green Arrow book, but with the Justice League. That was a good story is what I'm trying to say. Then we got a story by Mike Grell that fits perfectly in with the Mike Grell stuff from back in the day, Longbow Hunters and Post On. But it had this interesting tidbit at the end where it was like, to be continued. Like, are they giving Mike Grell something going on? Ram V and Christopher Mitten do a story that's very poetic and nuanced, and I liked it a lot. Brandon Thomas and Jorge Corona did a pretty decent story. Was that the one about Connor? Yeah, that's the one about Connor, I think. Yes, that's the one about Connor Hawk. So that was cool. Then we had Devin Grace and Max Fiormara do one about Arsenal that I really liked. Phil Hester, Andy Parts kind of jumped in, I guess, to fill in for Kevin Smith. They were the art team on the Kevin Smith run, so they kind of tell a story reflecting that kind of stuff. Story by Vita Ayala and Laura Braga, which was one of my least favorites in the whole issue. Benjamin Percy, Otto Schmidt did a really fine job kind of encapsulating their run. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino did one that was really cool, but kind of confusing to me at the end. And then Larry O'Neill and Jorge Fornes do a bit at the end that is an incredible, touching tribute to Denny O'Neill, who recently passed away, that seriously got me emotional. I didn't cry, but it got me emotional. Then we got the Catwoman Annual. This is by Ram V with a plethora of great artists. So we got Fernando Blanco, Kyle Hotz, and Juan Ferreira. So it's if you're reading Catwoman, do not skip this one, especially because it's a light week for DC. Do not skip this if you're reading Catwoman, because it does a couple things. First of all, it just bridges one issue to the next. Okay, Leo's been effed up by Father Valley, but what's going on? And Father Valley is this really interesting and compelling new villain that Ron B has created, and you get his origin in here. And his origin is not just really dope and a really nice tale in and of itself. It is connected to something so obviously Batman related that I should have put that together. I loved this issue. So I haven't read the Infinite Frontier Secret Files, but Catwoman was dope. Teen Titans Academy, I mean, if you're a fan of that, go for it. It lets you know more about Stitch. That was the best story in there for me. And Green Arrow fans definitely get that one because it was pretty solid. Some really great teams. Doing some really solid work, and I like how it was laid out. Kind of you followed the eras of Green Arrow, so that was cool. But the Catwoman was really, really dope. Anyway, that was the DC sneak peek. All right. There you go. Twitch says, I just watched Titans Season 2 over the last week. Man, that was so inconsistent. Hated the season finale. I haven't seen Season 2. I loved Season 1, but I haven't watched Season 2. 3's coming out, right? Well, thank you, Billy. Thank you. Billy says, congratulations to Rockin Robbie for 100 years on YouTube. Rod likes Rom V, but is not a big fan of the Catwoman run. That's fine. Catwoman doesn't reach as deep as some of his other work. It's a little bit more popcorn. But I love how he's doing interesting things with the structure of the heist comic. And he's always got cool ideas. And this one, I really, really honestly think this origin for this Father Valley guy is fucking dope. What's your favorite DC book right now, Robbie? Probably Swamp Thing by Rom V, if I had to pick one. Let me think about this. Swamp Thing. I mean, DC Black Label, right? So Nice House on the Lake. That's only one issue in. But right now, I get the most hype for Swamp Thing. Whenever there's a new Swamp Thing, there'll be one next week. First week of the month. Yeah, Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's my favorite. I'm very impressed, though, overall with DC right now. And we're at the end of the first half of this year, and we always like to do these best of the year lists or whatever. And I would definitely, right now, publisher of the first half of this year for me is DC. They have been the most consistent. They have been diverse. They have been pumping out really great content line-wide. Do you think we'll get a Plastic Man 80th anniversary? Man, that'd be neat if we did. I know we're getting an Aquaman one, so that's exciting. Nightwing is a good one, too. We are drinking Tiki Tacky. It's a mango-infused double IPA from Straight to Ale, which is a local brewery here. TM Nerdy says, people are sleeping on how well Batman's Second Son story is. I'm not sleeping on how well the story is, and I appreciate what it's doing with the character of Jace and what it's doing for the Fox family and adding some new dimension to the character of Lucius. But it's not a Batman book, and people, when they pick up a book that's got Batman in the title, they want to see some action. And the little bit that you get in there just isn't cutting it. And that's the problem with that one, I think. I think the book is good, too. But it's not exciting. Circumstances says, been buying more DC lately for sure. Billy likes Swamp Wang. Swamp Wang. Swamp Wang. Wham, wham. What'd it do? I just looked up and saw Charles Barkley smiling, and I just love that sight. Let me tell you that. Image does impress. The problem is, Image got to do something more better now. Like, I'm just thinking about what titles were launched. What is the direction of the entire company? Image is up there. I think Boom is not as strong as they were. They still got some very strong books, but overall, I think they've gotten a bit inconsistent. I think Vault has strengthened up this year. I think Marvel has continued to just be inconsistent and insignificant as shit for the most part, aside from a handful of books. I think Mad Cave stepped up. I think Scout has stepped up. But I am most impressed so far this year out of DC as a company. He also fought Godzilla, Charles Barkley did, Tacky. So, you know. I think Boom's been good. Boom's been consistently solid, but when you have a breakout year where you're pumping out Once and Future, Something is Killing the Children, Seven Secrets, and now I just think their newest launches are not as compelling. They still do some great works. Berserker's great. Proctor Valley Road is great. They're not bad. I'm not saying they're bad. Me personally right now, and a lot can change by the second half of this year, but DC's impressing me right now for Publisher of the Year. The only thing they got going against them is their fucking price increases and the meaningless backup stories. It's knocking it down a bit. Patrick says, not interested in the next Batman. Not my Batman. That's cool. And what's cool is that DC's doing this Omniverse shit where they can do both. And everybody gets to have their cake and eat it too, right? And that's what I love about it. The Omniverse idea, the Infinite Frontier idea gives, for instance, the way that Marvel tried to explore legacy characters, which, by the way, DC has always explored legacy characters throughout their history. We can never forget that Hal Jordan and Barry Allen in and of themselves are legacy characters, okay? But, like, DC has always explored that. When I grew up, like, my Green Arrow was Connor Hawke. Kyle Rayner was the first Green Lantern I really read significant amounts of. Wally West was my Flash from a very early age. So, legacy characters can be impactful for new readers, right? But when Marvel is trying to explore that, it was in the, you lost something. Like, for the most part, a Wally West 80s or 90s Flash story could have very well been a Barry Allen. You know, I mean, different nuances of the character. But for the most part, the stories kind of mimicked the same type structure and themes, right? But Marvel tried to do a bunch of legacy all at the same time and try to diversify. And I think it kind of backfired on them a little bit. Because there just wasn't anything familiar to grab a hold of. And even though we have Next Batman, if that's not your bag, we still have plenty of Bruce Wayne-centric books out there. And they all satisfy and scratch a different itch. Batman Reptilian, if you like something really dark and gnarly, there you go. If you just want something light and superhero-y and fun and building on itself and soap opera, Batman, Detective Comics, your superhero Batman books. If you just like nice, innovative stories, nice one-and-done little things, Legends of the Dark Knight, or not that necessarily, but Batman Black and White, or Urban Legend, the anthology, things like that. So it's a really interesting idea that I think has actually paid off for them right now. But that's what's great is that it's not like there's just one Batman book, and so they replace him with Jace Fox, and that's what we're stuck with, or nothing. The Infinite Frontier gives us the options to have multiples. And I get it. We can roll our eyes and be like, oh, damn, there's like 10 Batman books this month. Well, those are the ones we fucking buy, y'all. We vote with our wallets. What do you want more of? Because you're not, we don't buy Plastic Man books. We don't buy Aquaman books. There you go. So that's what I really like about what DC's doing right now is that they can diversify and not alienate. And I think that that's really, really important when you're trying to bring in new blood, whether it's creators or whether it's characters, to diversify and be more inclusive, but at the same time not alienate prior fans. So I think DC's kind of figured out how to do that because they're doing a whole bunch of different types of books for different types of people, and it's working on all those levels. So, hey, we got a super chat from Comic Toby 420. 420, man. Station, the Bueller bus is coming to your town. You know it, buddy, and I'm ready. All right, I'm about to rhyme something that I wrote back in my Limp Bizkit loving days, so don't judge me too harshly, all right? This shit ain't right. I've been thinking all night. We used to be tight, but all we did was fight. You try to play me, you try to be like me. Some sick and twisted knee. Well, bitch, Joe, please get the fuck away from me, cause I'm untouchable. You better listen closely now. I'm the oracle coming from the sky with the wrath of the Khan. Tactic is to lift, the woe be gone. You see, I got this funny feeling and it ain't go away. I got this funny feeling and it ain't go away. You're fucking with me and all the days of your life ain't nothing but strife, cause you try to play it cool with your hand on the knife. And the guys that you're wearing, it ain't so appealing. You better keep your distance while I got this feeling. Got this feeling that there's something. What's up, everybody? Brah! I love it. Brah! I just wanted to sing the Hellboy song again. Anyway, Comics Will Break Your Heart is here. What's up, Jen? How are you doing? Good to see ya. We were talking about you a little bit earlier. Talking about how you're going to be on the Coffee and Comic Show tomorrow. Very excited to check that out. Some New Blood. By the way, New Blood is Hammer Time Holshoe's favorite Friday the 13th film. Dominique says, yeah, it sucks when no one buys the books you like. At least I know Savage Dragon will stick around as long as Eric is still kicking. This is what I love about the Image guys. Todd became this fucking mogul, toys, baseballs, this big media mogul, right? Rob, did, the rock star shit where he, got big, lived big, and, fizzled the fuck out. And then Jim Lee went corporate and did his thing. Mark Silvestri became his own media mogul, in his own way. And, Eric Larson's still just sitting down every day drawing Savage Dragon. I respect the hell out of that. I really, really do. I should read that. Jen says, I had such a great time hanging out with Bueller, and I'm excited to watch the video tomorrow. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, I quit reading Iron Man, y'all. Quit it. Let's see. Buffy Guy says, DC lost me. I love Justice League Dark, but I'm not buying Justice League for 10 pages of Dark. I know, just get the trade. I hope they put a Justice League Dark trade out on its own. I really do. Rob can't draw feet, though, says Rod. He can draw feet better than me. I'll tell you that. What's really funny is that Rob Liefeld might be the subject tonight on Comics in the 90s. Just think about your recent comic book major milestone anniversaries. I think you can piece together what we're finally doing tonight. Rob did something, though. Rob tapped into something, and it is my mission. And for the next bit, as dramatic as it was when I became a Todd McFarlane fan and a Spawn fan overnight, there is a piece of Rob Liefeld that really compels me and a piece that really disgusts me. I got to figure out what it is about this guy. And we're starting that journey tonight. Who wants a book of feet? Says 62 Lefty Blue. That's a great. Is that something Rob is used to like if somebody walked up to Rob Liefeld and said, "You can't draw feet," I would love if his response was, "Who wants a book of feet?" I'm serious as fuck, y'all. Why is Rob Liefeld the only artist who we look at the fucking feet? You get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? We are so critically harsh on Rob Liefeld. Why? We're going to start that journey tonight. But first, we got to talk about Loki. In fact, we can't just talk about Loki. We got to talk low-key on Loki. So, warning, spoilers. Before we get to warnings, there are about to be spoilers for Loki coming up for episodes 1, 2, and 3. However, we got another super chat from Comic Toby 420. Says, like I told Governor Newsom, COVID is 2000. What? 2000 and late. I love that. You're so 2000 and late. I'm so 2008. Whatever the hell that means nowadays. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Loki. It's now the time to talk low-key about Loki. So we already did this for episode 1. We missed last week, but now we're back. So episodes 2 and 3. In episodes 2, my theory got confirmed. The big villain that they were talking about, that they were chasing, stealing all the time bombs, was a lady Loki. Or was it confirmed? Because, and you can check out a lot of thoughts and theories and conspiracy theories even on the chat that I was involved with at Jim Mint Collectibles with Benny from Comic Story and Comic Tom, Very Gary, and dude from Pressable Defects. It was a fantastic show. Plus Jim Mint was there. And he wasn't too bad. But we had a great discussion on this, and what I want to get to here is this. First of all, I should have written it down. The name of the character who plays Sylvie, which is the lady female Loki, she's fucking brilliant. I think she's amazing in this role. Okay, so we get more of her in episode 3. Now, to rehash real quick episode 2, I really liked episode 2 a lot. Owen Wilson as Mobius, building up the story about the jet skis. It was so freaking great. Whenever Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson are on screen together, I just eat that shit up, okay? Just like force feed it. Just shove it down my throat. I'm cool with it. And then we get the reveal of Lady Loki. And then we find out in episode 3, it's Sylvie. Sylvie is the name of Enchantress 2. So the Enchantress is an Asgardian. She's a Thor villain. She's got enchanting powers. And in Dark Reign, Young Avengers #1, Paul Cornell created a character named Sylvie. And it was one of those characters. This is the era when Asgard was reborn above Oklahoma, in Broxton, Oklahoma, or something like that. She was a resident of that town. Loki decided to give her enchantress powers to see what would happen. She kind of became a quick villain and then a hero, and then not much has happened. So she was in Young Avengers for that time period during Dark Reign, and she was in Avengers Academy. And I barely remember this character. Y'all, like, I read that shit like one time and was done with it, okay? So I don't think that there was very compelling comic books. But she was the second enchantress, and Loki created her. So why do they go out of their way in episode 3 to make it seem like Sylvie does not want to be called Loki? She has her own identity. She makes this whole thing, well, it's just an alias. Well, Loki's lie. I think she is a Loki, but I think that she is Loki influenced on another person, and that literally Sylvie, not a Loki. I think this is the MCU's version of the Enchantress. You're not going to get the Enchantress of the comic books. Was it Amora? Adora? It's Amora, right? Adora is that badass drag queen. That's Adore, not Adora. Anyway, so Adore is also a really good Smashing Pumpkins album, like no lie. So there you go. Adore Delano, by the way, is just an amazing, amazing drag queen. Follow them on Instagram. You really should. Anyway, where was I? Loki. Okay, so I have the impression that Lady Loki, Sylvie's whole motivation is more than just revenge, okay? She says she's been hunted by the Time Variance Authority her entire life. You look at the promo for the next episode, there's a young Loki that's shown in. She's got darker hair. Because one of the first things I said was, why is she blonde? Like, I was like, why does she not have black hair? Lady Loki has black hair. Well, because they're not doing Lady Loki. They're subverting that expectation, I think. I think that they're setting up their version of Enchantress, because they're not going to give us classic Enchantress. You're not going to get some woman with big tits and long legs seducing Thor. You're going to get something a little bit more complex, something a little bit more intelligent, something a little bit more of the time. And I think Sylvie plays right into that. There is a moment, many moments, whenever Loki in this episode 3 I'm talking about, refers to Sylvie's powers, he doesn't say anything about illusion or trick or magic. In fact, she claims that what he's doing is magic. She says it in a very distasteful type of way. What? Because you're a magician. But when she touches him, by the way, this is like, there's a lot of funny moments in this episode. But my favorite funny moment to me is this. It's always the smallest, dumbest bits. That's why people are like, why are y'all bits here at PCP? They're not funny. I know. The fact that they're not funny is fucking hilarious to us. The bit where she touches him and he goes, what are you doing? She goes, what are you doing? And he goes, you're trying to enchant me. It won't work. Like, right? Or that's the moment, though, maybe he starts enchanting her. Now, me and Benny from Comics Historian, on our very first show ever together on screen, had the same theory, that this is all an illusion played by Loki on Sylvie. Loki is acting way out of character, way not. Loki would be freaking the fuck out if he was honestly trapped on a planet where he's about to die at any moment and he's broken the TemPad. Something about that is an illusion. Is it just the TemPad breaking? I don't think the time stone means shit. Like the fact that maybe he kept the time stone, that's bullshit. Either the TVA comes and rescues them, or he's lying. The TemPad's fine, and most of this is an illusion. Now, is it all an illusion? Benny seems to think it's all an illusion. I don't know if it's all an illusion, but one illusion that I am certain of is that TemPad is not broken. Okay? So they'll get out of it at the beginning of the next episode once Sylvie tells him exactly what he wants to know. And she's only going to tell him that when she thinks it's 100% over. Back to Sylvie. Sylvie could very well just be a Loki. And maybe this version of Loki is what the MCU turns out to be, the Enchantress. Maybe that's why they threw the Sylvie name in there. They like to mislead, but at the same time, they don't try to make things too complex. Okay? So maybe it is just an alternate version of Loki. Just happens to be the Enchantress. So maybe we'll just have to come to terms and grips with the idea that the woman, Lady Loki, and the Enchantress are the same character in the MCU. That's fine. Whatever. That's cool. She is not the villain of the piece. The villain of the piece is who she's trying to get to. Why is she so hardcore going for the Time Variance Authority? She is not familiar with the offices of the TVA. She shows up and she thinks she can use her powers. She doesn't know that her powers don't work there. That's news to her. Why is she doing this? Not very well thought out. Oh, she must be after somebody. I think the Time Variance Authority is holding somebody. I think they're holding maybe her creator, maybe her father, maybe someone connected to her mother. Why did they throw that bit out? Was this just to build character on a character? What was this just to build character for the villain and the hero? No. This was a character-driven episode, but there's more to it than that. I think this episode is Loki trying to get information out of Sylvie, and I think Sylvie, whether she is or is not a Loki, she is Enchantress, okay? So whether it's a lie that she's Loki, or whether she is Loki, and this version of Loki happens to be the Enchantress, and that's why she's blonde, there's a reason when they do these things. There's a reason for the lines they do. That being said, she's after someone. The TVA has someone. It's not Kang. I just put this on the table. What? Shame. Nobody mentioned it. I'm not paying attention. It's not Kang. It's not Mephisto. It's not all this shit that we keep thinking. We think too complexly about the MCU sometimes. And this is something that Rob from Comics Explained says. Sometimes us having read 30, 40, 50 plus years of comics, there's a lot of complex stories going on, right? And retconning and this is tied together. That's not the MCU. It can be a little complex in and of itself for a film series, but it is not as complex as the Marvel fucking Universe 616, okay? So think simpler. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS logo, right? Keep it simple, stupid. You can use that for MCU. So any theory. Kang, time, no. Kang's in Ant-Man. Ant-Man's dealing with the quantum realm. The quantum realm is a different thing that they're doing than time and what they're doing with the multiverse and time, okay? I honestly believe that. Ant-Man is in no way connected to what's going on here. Or Doctor Strange. The multiverse war could be built up into Is Kang a part of it? Who knows? I think this is more Secret Wars and less time shit. That being said, who knows? That being said, for real, that middle timekeeper looks just like Jonathan Majors and looks just like Kang. Like, it feels like the resemblance is too striking, but maybe they're fucking with us. Moving on. Sylvie is after Old Man Loki. We know that Richard E. Grant, I believe is his name. He was the villain in Hudson Hawk. And I love that this dude is an accomplished actor who's been in so many movies, but every time I think of him and I see his face, all I can think about is Hudson Hawk. I fucking love that movie. We're going to be doing Hudson Hawk one day. Soon. Not too soon. We're doing Hudson Hawk in 2022. I'm writing it down right now. There's no way I remember that. Y'all keep reminding me. Anyway. He's coming up in the series. He's a big-time actor. For the most part, he's a face you recognize. But here's the face that I really want to talk about. Tom Hiddleston's face. If you take Tom Hiddleston, put the Loki horns on him, and imagine him aged up like 30, 40 years. Dude, this Richard dude looks just everything. I think we could do it. They're pulling a lot from the Agent of Asgard series from Loki. The villain of that series was Old Man Loki. Old Man Loki's the villain. Sylvie is working for him. He may, if they're going with the MCU, with the 616 route, and Sylvie is a Loki creation of the Enchantress, then he did it. Otherwise, he's somehow connected. I don't know. Old Man Loki's the villain. She's not the villain. We got to know her too well. She will maybe still continue to be a threat, but I think that Old Man Loki's on the horizon, and that's what we need to think about and not Kang. Anyway, that's what I thought about Loki. I thought it was a great episode, wonderful music, amazing cinematography. Some people called it a filler episode, and if some of these theories come out to be true, that it is an illusion for some part or another by Loki on Sylvie to gain information, it's not wasted. So I think it was a really solid issue or episode. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on Jim on his channel because he asked me out of 10. So a 7 out of 10 is a 3.5 out of 5. So 3.5 you digs for this episode because it did slow down a little bit, but it did do some great character work and it had some great music and all that stuff. That was a great episode. Very excited to see what happens in 4, 5, and 6. And that was us talking low key on Loki. All right. So there you go. Bueller's here and says, Robbie, can I share something with you? Yeah. What do you mean, like right here, right now? Share it. Cerebro says, love how you told us to keep it simple after theorizing that episode 3 was complex as fuck. You're right, Verna. But keep it simple. Like, basically what I was saying there is that this female version of Loki just happens to be Enchantress. Enchantress and female Loki are one and the same. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. We don't have to take over Sif's body or anything like that. So there you go. 3.5 you digs, which would be 5 slips and like 9 backlogs. Cerebro says, 3 you digs, I'm dying to love Loki as much as people seem to be. Damn, bruh. I have to have a chat about that tomorrow night, man. Big Herm says, 4.5 you digs. Love the Enchantress character building. Me too. I like the character work that was done. But do you really think that Loki's just going to get drunk when the world could possibly end with no way out? It's all an act. It's an act. He's trying to make her feel like the timekeepers are Kang, Immortus, and Rama Tut. Nah, this too complex. Somebody on Friday night, they were like, but is it going to be Kang or is it going to be Immortus? I was like, well, if it's anybody, it's Kang. They're not going to get into the whole Kang, Immortus, Rama Tut shit. It's way too much, man. Like, I'm serious. I understand and recognize how crazy some of this shit is in the MCU. But it is way less crazy than the fucking comic books sometimes. But we're talking about 80 plus years of continuity and retconning and making shit fit and reimagining things, right? Just remember that Loki is a trickster. And throughout all of Loki's appearances, how many times have we, the audience, been fooled by Loki? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's happening again. This is going to be like the end of an Ocean's movie where you're like, oh, they got away with the money. Which, by the way, Fast and Furious 5, shit was dope as fuck, man. Anyway. Pardon me, but what the fuck is a ya dig? Caps, let me tell you what a ya dig is. So, well, back in the early days of PCP, one of the things I used to say to sign off of our movie reviews, I was like, and remember, if you want to think a little bit more about a movie, all you got to do is dig. So the idea is dig. You dig into things to find the nuggets of glory, right? Or whatever, right? Plus, the whole idea of, can you dig it? You dig? Like, that's something we say. Like, yo, you know what, blah, 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 blah. You dig? And then I started ending videos with saying, you dig? You dig. So it just became, we gave it you digs. We decided we didn't want to do stars. We didn't want to do thumbs ups or anything like that. We want to do a grading scale of 5. 5 is the number. We don't do top 10s. We try to do top 5s for the most part because we think that just makes you have to like coalesce your thoughts a little bit better. Though I do top 10s occasionally, especially every week with Jim Mint Collectibles because we like talking about comics. But that's what a you dig is. It's a reference to digging for nuggets of nuance in fiction and story. It's a reference to, can you dig it? You dig? I dig it. So yeah, that's what it is. Can you dig it? Anyway, so now it's time for the Bruce Lee movie review, but we're already over 2 hours, so we're about to take a quick break. When we come back though, Fist of Fury movie review, Marvel in the 90s, top 5, 85 movies, show and tell. Bruh, is it going to be a long night? I don't know. Slips are losing value. So are backlogs, man. I don't know what's going on. But I'll tell you what. You digs? Just keep staying strong. It's like Bitcoin. This motherfucker. You don't even know. You count out your digs, and all of a sudden, they come back with ultra force. We'll be right back, y'all, here on Rockin Robbie Live. What's up, everybody? Station! Welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers, and specifically, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night. Continuing Block C now. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? Join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you might as well follow Pop Culture Philosophers there. We're also on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. We have a website. It's popculturephilosophers.com. You should really check it out because that's where you can find and download all of our podcasts and the blogs that we've done. It's a really cool place. You can find our merch link. All those links and more are down in the comments down below. Not the comments, the description down below. Also, you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP like these fine people right here. And I do want to highlight Brandon Conkle. And I do want to highlight that Stefan Link, Missing Link himself, has joined up on the PCP Patreon page. So we really do appreciate it, homie, and all the support. You can also support with Super Chat tonight. And I will say this. Brooke was talking about me opening up this Cyclonus right here, which I got a lot of Transformers in package. And the longer they stay in package, the more in value they go up. So the longer they stay in package, the less likely it is that I open them up. But I'll tell you this. $10 more in Super Chats for the rest of the night, and we open up Cyclonus tonight. I'm just going to throw that out there. So anyway, somebody was talking about comic books. Let's see here. Bob says, somebody asked me about Samurai Grandpa earlier. I think it was 62 Lefty Blues. I just ordered the trade paperback. Got to check it out. Oh, my goodness. I think mine's here somewhere. Where? All right. Just take my word for it. I have it. I love that fucking book. I have the issues. Actually, did I give away the issues in a mystery box? Anyway, I have the trade. Samurai Grandpa is dope as fuck. Y'all need to definitely check it out if you haven't already. Hey, Bearded Comic Bros in the house. We've been getting all these dope-ass YouTubers coming in tonight for Rockin Robbie Live. I love it when we get these celebrity appearances in the chat. By the way, Bearded Comic Bros is going to be here on Pop Culture Philosophers before you fucking know it. and I'm excited as hell to have him join us here. Me and Bearded, drinking beer, talking comics with beards. So why not, right? Why not, right? I keep looking for my... Samurai Grandpa. I keep getting distracted as fuck. What day did we say, Bearded? Was it July 8th? Was that the one? Maybe it's not in here. I think it's July 8th. I think. Anyway. What's coming up here? We got lots coming up. We took a little bit of a break, but the break is over. Tomorrow night, Comics Revisited returns for Season 3 as a new live show with audience participation and more guests. Me, Brooks, Brainiac, and Verno from the Cerebros podcast will be talking about Grant Morrison's New X-Men in its entirety. What we think about the story, the controversial decisions, what we think about the artists, what we think about the letterers. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be talking about the lettering because we're pop culture philosophers. That's what the hell we do. Thursday night is the 6th anniversary of Pop Culture Philosophers, so join us to celebrate 6 years as PCP in existence. Join me and other members of the excitable PCP crew as we chat live. That's going to be 8 p.m. Central Time Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Time on Friday night. That's right, we kicking off PCP Movie Night again with Action Fest 2021. We're going to be talking about the 80s action classic with Sylvester Stallone, Cobra, one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid, so definitely want to check that out. Dylan's Horror Show has continued on without me for the last couple weeks, but I do return this Saturday with a banger-ass show, because we're going to be talking about Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, 3. That's right, the Holy Trinity there. So, really cool stuff. We're very excited for it. So, station! I saw Perry in the house, too, so I got to say, I saw a bush and I picked a berry. I saw a YouTube and I picked a Perry. Yo, what's up, my man? I don't know what that meant, but I meant it as a compliment. Congratulations on 6 years on YouTube and 100 years as a pop culture philosopher. Thank you so much, TM Nerdy. We really do appreciate that. Yeah, we do. 6 years as PCP. That means YouTube and as the podcast. And we haven't even gotten to 50 episodes, but we haven't done an episode in over a year. I want to know this. I think we should continue doing the podcast as a live stream. I want to know what y'all have. Sound off. I want to know what y'all think about that. Yeah, July 8th is when Bearded Comic Bro is here, and I think it's July 15th when we have Caps on Comics and Dank Comics on the channel. And then we got more creator interviews on the way. I'm just trying to take a little bit of a break, focus on other things right now. Action Fest and Horror Fest, bruh. Y'all, you're not even ready. Action Fest is dope as shit, and I'm ready. It's summertime. It's action movie season. That's what we're doing. And that's why we're doing Bruce Lee films right now. So, before we did Action Fest, when we last left you on PCP Movie Night, we had done Crew's Choice. And by the way, I saw, are we coming back for the fourth quarter now? But I saw that the Bucks had come up, and then the Hawks came back up. So I don't know where we are right now. They're not flashing the score in front of me. But it looks like it's a close-ass game right now in Atlanta. Ooh, yeah, 85-83. That was airmail. What the fuck was that? Anyway, all right. Maybe I should do more live streams when I'm watching sports. Cap says, make sure to drop everything for the 15th. Hell yeah. This game is killer. I bet it is. It's on right now. I'm getting distracted. Oh, they can't. Dude, did you see the fourth quarter, the Suns and fucking Clippers game last night where nobody scored? Like, that was so wild. That game ended with the lowest score. Oh, my God. That was so crazy. Anyway, I'm going through these Bruce Lee films because on Crew's Choice, Brooks picked Enter the Dragon. And I watched Enter the Dragon for the first time since high school and fucking loved it. And then I really wanted to get into more Bruce Lee films. He sadly doesn't have too many Kung Fu films. And so a couple weeks ago, we did The Big Boss because Brooks let me borrow his DVD box set. I have thoughts about that. But tonight, this morning, I did my usual Sunday ritual of wake up, smoke a bowl, watch a movie. And tonight, this I did Fist of Fury, aka The Chinese Connection. There's the DVD copy that I watched right there from Brooks. So it's time for a movie review. So let's do it. Fist of Fury from 1972. Let's talk about this film. It was the second kung fu martial arts film by Bruce Lee in Hong Kong. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. The basic story is this. Bruce Lee plays this dude named Chin. He's part of this school of Chinese martial artists, and their master dies under mysterious circumstances. He wasn't sick or anything like that. He just died, right? And then all of a sudden, this rival Japanese school shows up, and on the day of the death of their master, they put out this like, hey, someone come fight us. We're crazy. We're coming after you. So it deals and it delves a little bit on the idea of racism between the Chinese and the Japanese. This is a very real thing that was going on in the area at the time, and this movie has gotten some controversy because it feels like Bruce Lee had an anti-Japanese sentiment, but that's not really what the case is here. It's a bit more nuanced than that. So Bruce Lee winds up going to this place after being just completely disrespected by this Japanese school, and he shows up and he pulls out the nunchucks, which, by the way, the nunchucks work in this movie. It's just dope as fuck. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I remember thinking nunchucks were super cool as a kid, and I had some, and I would just break shit all the time with them and try to catch them under my armpit and everything like Bruce Lee. That's where those scenes came from. That's like the image in my head came from this. I may have watched this movie as a kid and just didn't remember it because a lot of this felt very familiar to me while I'm talking about it. So he shows up, and after he shows up, then he just kicks everybody's ass, and then they go. And while he's gone bullshitting around outside of the school, dealing with oppression, they come in and just tear ass through his school. And then he finds out, and he's like, oh my goodness, it's terrible. But then he finds out that the poisons, that's right, his master wasn't just died of natural causes. He was poisoned by the cooks. And he finds out about it, and he just kills them, hangs them out in the middle of the fucking street. He finds out they were hired by the translator that works for this Japanese martial arts school. He goes, kills him, hangs him up from the fucking street. Then he goes undercover, and the movie takes this really slow kind of turn. There's a moment with him and the love interest that just kind of lasts a bit too long. And then all of a sudden, it gets into kooky hijinks where, like, Bruce Lee is he's basically going undercover and acting in these like comedic roles to like get closer to the people that he eventually has to fight. And just like in the previous film, he goes through the bosses and he does it magnificently well. There's a Russian dude in here. That fight was dope. It lasts forever. The fighting is great. I loved it. So he goes undercover, and then he winds up killing all the dudes, and then all the people at his school, for the most part, are killed as well. And they're about to all get arrested. There's all this like political shit going on, and he has to turn himself in order to spare his school the dishonor of the fault of these murders of this other school, right? Even though they were in the wrong. And so he decides to, like, he's going to turn himself in, and the last thing you see is, like, he runs up, all these people are surrounded by guns, and he fucking just straight up Bruce Lee kicks at him, and then it fades away, it just still frames on this image, and he gets got. Like, the idea is he gets blown the fuck away. So he dies for honor. Fist of Fury, The Chinese Connection. That was the movie. Yeah, I really like the movie. I mean, I feel like it... I had the same problem with The Big Boss. I think The Big Boss is better than this film, but I had the same problem where at some point towards the middle, it's more like it's towards the middle of Act 2. It just slows the fuck up, right? That's the problem. Excuse me. But you didn't hear that. I don't know why I said excuse me. But it just... This is something, okay, so I'm very accustomed to watching Italian horror films or Italian Western films, right? So I'm used to the dubbing and everything. It still bothers me that I don't hear Bruce Lee's fucking voice except for ever in Enter the Dragon. Like, Bob let me know that on the last one. Oh my God. That pisses me off. I gotta take a drink. His voice is amazing. So I liked the film. I thought it was good. But just like Big Boss, like maybe this is something that's part of Hong Kong cinema of the time. There are many things I have to get used to watching Italian cinema. And it's not just Italian horror. Like I said, it's the crime films and it's also the Western films, right? So you get used to this kind of thing. And so there's I hate to misuse this word, but it's a learning curve. Okay. So I'm still getting used to that, but maybe part of the issue is that I have with their structure is just inherent to Hong Kong cinema. But it really slows the fuck up. Like he does this long talk with his love interest and then this long thing where all of a sudden this revenge film goes super fucking comedic. And just maybe it's a cultural thing, but if you watch any revenge film, I dare you to think of any revenge film that in Act 3 becomes fucking a Pink Panther film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gets kind of ridiculous. And then it goes back to some badassery. And Bruce Lee is amazing as a performer. The way he can emote, you don't get to hear his voice, but you get to see the emotion, the emoting from his face, the acting done there. And that's over the top and really badass, and I really appreciate it. And I do wonder if the walls and all that shit are from him, because they sound like him. But aside from that, it's a pretty solid movie. I don't think it has as compelling of a story. Now, I'm not as plugged into the political nature of the story, what it's trying to say about where they're in Shanghai and there's like not Chinese-owned territory, but there's like international and I'm a little unclear and I don't really know a lot about that stuff, so I'm a little bit unknowledgeable, I guess. But so I don't understand the nuance of that. But I get that they're trying to do something else. It also takes for fucking ever to end. Like, the movie ends, and then it, like, goes through and does this whole fucking thing. Okay? And it's not as bad as, like, Lord of the Rings Return of the King, where it has, like, an hour of fucking ending. But it ends for a while. So I liked it. I thought it was really cool. All the Bruce Lee shit was dope, but the story didn't quite grab me as much. But it was nice to see, in most of these movies, Bruce Lee is trying not to be violent. He's trying not to kill. And this one, he don't give a fuck. He immediately goes and fucks up. And then, like, there's this lesson there about, like, if he never would have attacked the other school, this could have all been avoided. But it doesn't get too deep into that. I guess he has to die for his thing, but it was all for honor or whatever. But, like, basically, I like the movie. I think it has some pacing issues, okay? But maybe that's just a part of the whole shit. But overall, I thought it was a pretty solid movie, and I would give it, out of 5 possible you digs, I would definitely say 3.5. 3.5 you digs for this movie. And Bob is here, and he says, now that you've seen Chinese Connection, you need to see Jet Li's tribute to Bruce, and that movie is Fist of Legend. Fist of Legend. Fist of Legend. Bam. Jet Li. All right, no super chats so far, so I guess nobody wants to see that Cyclonus open tonight. That's fine. I'll open it like 2 weeks from now. Bob says, that's fair, bro. 3.5. I mean, I like the other one better. I like Enter the Dragon the best out of these 3 so far. And I would hope that my favorite Bruce Lee film is not his Hollywood movie. But it just might be the case. The other thing I got to say, where did it go? Where did I put that DVD? Why can I not find it? Where did I put it? The DVD set? I think I moved it somewhere else. That DVD set is like shit-ass quality. Audio sucks. Picture's not very good. Like, I need to watch this shit on fucking Blu-ray. But Brooks, thank you, Station Brooks, for letting me. Tyler Christ with the $4.99 super chat. We'll round that up and count that for $5. So $5 more, we open up Cyclonus. Says, found a sick set of store exclusive Giga #1s with glow-in-the-dark covers at my local con. Tyler, you got some glow-in-the-dark Giga covers? Bruh, where'd you get those? I want to know. I don't have a glow-in-the-dark Giga. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save and all destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. I love that Joker. All right, we're back. Thank you so much. $5 more we open up Cyclonus tonight. Thank you, Tyler. Big Herm gives it for you, Diggs. Bob says, Enter the Dragon is the best. The next one you need to watch is Return of the Dragon and his epic showdown against Chuck Norris. I'm looking up at the DVD set right now, and I think the next one is that. And then the next one is, I guess the one where he fights, is that the, which one does he fight Kareem? There's only 2 more movies in the set. And then there's the documentary. We'll have to check that out. The Texas Ranger? A glow-in-the-dark Giga cover? Blows me away. Gator says, Enter the Dragon just isn't all that great. The goofy James Bond plot is too much. So I actually like that bits of it. Those bits of it. I like how it's like, it's more compelling to me than Mortal Kombat, but not as much as Bloodsport. But I think I gave it 5 digs. I really like that one. And maybe it's the Hollywood sheen. But I really, really liked it. And I'm a big John Saxon fan. And can't remember other dude's name now. Y'all do, though. Y'all school me. The mirror stuff is amazing, but every fight scene is zoomed in, waist up, and you don't even see him do moves. Some of these, I like at times, like in these films, like with this newest one, The Chinese Connection, Fist of Fury. There's moments I like the camera work, but moments where I really don't. I think the camera work's not that great. Like, so that's been a problem for me through some of these movies. But I would like to see them in higher quality. I really would, to be honest with you. DVD was not the way to go on this one. It kind of messed me up. And we got a super chat from Comic Toby 420 again of $10. So we've hit it. I'm opening up that fucking Cyclonus tonight. All right, let's do it. He said, did you watch the new iCarly on Paramount Plus? Did you see some of the occult hidden symbolism? I enjoyed watching my old stuff remade. No, I've never watched any iCarly. I don't have Paramount Plus either, but Picard Season 2 is coming up, so that's when I usually jump in on that, and football season as well, because it's CBS. No, is there hidden occult symbolism? I would be interested in checking it out for that, but we appreciate the super chat, y'all. Now we fight evil and monsters. And he fights with the man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic mass named Johan. BPRD. Hey! Yeah. Yo, I gotta get it off my chest. I don't mean to cause no stress, but I gotta say, yo, PCP is blessed cause we got the best fans and we got the best community. We got the best fucking family. Let me tell you, everybody, that you gotta see. Bucks on Lodge, let me tell you, Hodge. Everybody come around, Milwaukee's in charge. All right, it looks like the Bucks are back in charge. You like how I threw that in there? It's shitty, but it works sometimes. I hope it works. Anyway, what's going on? We got the ball game going on. Oh, my goodness. It looks... Oh, snap. 103-98. Okay. How's everybody doing? Giannis will win back. Well, Giannis with his back to the basket, as Tacky says. Nice. We should watch sports together more often. All right, y'all. It's time for a fan favorite segment. Patrick says, sitting here having lunch, watching the last part of the show before I start watching my Alfred Hitchcock box set. Lunch? Where the fuck you at, Patrick? Jesus. All right. It's time for a fan favorite segment. We're bringing it back. We've been doing DC in the 80s. And I know that people like that. But I know that at the same time you're going... But where's the one that I want to see? Here it is. Marvel in the 90s. And tonight, we're talking about X-Force #1, baby. That's right, by Rob Liefeld, Fabian Nicieza. Let's go ahead and get on with it because this week marks the 30th anniversary of this book, which also happens to be the second highest selling American comic book of all time. X-Force #1. Let's talk about it. First of all, Rob Liefeld comes in. This is spinning out of New Mutants. New Mutants was the bottom of the fucking ladder when it came to X-Men books back in the day, okay? In the early 90s, late 80s. Nobody cared about New Mutants. But Rob Liefeld came in and people started caring. He brought in Cable. He brought in Deadpool, Gideon, Domino. And then that led to the creation of X-Force, which was completely plotted by Rob Liefeld. This is a Rob Liefeld book through and through. Fabian Nicieza did the scripting, some of it a little wonky. This is some of the wonkiest scripting I've ever seen from Fabian Nicieza. We're only covering issue 1. I covered it for the 30th anniversary. This is what I read. We're going to talk about it. This shot right here, I think, is 8 from George Perez and Teen Titans, which I think was pulled from an X-Men book back in the day. But it's dynamic. I'm trying to understand what it was about Rob Liefeld that ignited a generation. It wasn't just Todd McFarlane. It wasn't just Eric Larson. Rob Liefeld had so much to do with this. He was a fucking rock star. Why? Well, first of all, look at this double page spread. As much as this is stolen from George Perez or Neil Adams or whoever the fuck, it's dynamic. It's got energy. It's got, dare I say it, backgrounds. Surprised me the amount of backgrounds in this issue. So basically the issue is X-Force teaming up, this new version of the team, spinning out of New Mutants, going after the Mutant Liberation Front's base in Antarctica, because that's easy as fuck to get to. But of course, there's some Strife shit. So let's talk about Rob Liefeld yet again. Look at that top panel there. That's the anchor. All right? That is dynamic as fuck, okay? It's out of proportion. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But it works, and it worked for 1991, y'all. This book came out in June of 91, and it just set people on fire. People love this. Now, one thing I learned recently through checking out Cartoonist Kayfabe's YouTube channel, that's Ed Piscor, and his partner there, I can't remember his name, but they did an exploration on this. They were talking about how Rob would, because he inked himself at the time, okay? And they were talking about how he would do these thumbnails small, blow them up, and then do the finished inking over. And so a lot of the shortcuts you may find, especially say on the cover with the inking, like those, they like to say, you can't call that hatching on the smoke there at the bottom, because this is something that seems like it was rendered smaller, blown up, and then finished. And that's exactly what it was. But it's dynamic, and it captured the impression of a generation. So basically, X-Force shows up, and Shatterstar's there. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, I've never read New Mutants by Rob Liefeld. I've never read that shit. I've never even read the first appearance of Deadpool. I've never actually fucking read it. So maybe I should. Maybe I should do my homework and read that shit first. So I don't know if this is Shatterstar's first appearance or whatnot, but it seems like he's a new character. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I was a kid, I thought Shatterstar looked cool as fuck. And super cool in this first issue, he cuts off this dude's fucking hand. Now, that hand is weird, and I don't want to keep going on the artist kayfabe thing, the cartoonist kayfabe story, but what is the thumb and what is the pinky there? I think the thumb's supposed to be the one on the bottom, but it's fun to like mimic or to mock Rob Liefeld's art nowadays, but y'all, this was the second highest selling comic book in America of all time. This shit was dope. One of the reasons why it's dope is shit like this. This is Kirby-esque. Now, Eric Larson's a big fan of Kirby, but I would dare to say that Kirby's a big influence of Rob Liefeld. Exaggeration, dynamicism, the dynamic energy being more on the forefront. When I recently watched the Image documentary, The Image Revolution, which is on sale right now at the Shout Factory website if you want to own it, but it's also available to watch for free on YouTube. It's an amazing documentary. Rob says he always cared about layouts, dynamics, how to make something pop and energetic. In 1991, this was energetic as fuck, bro. You look at other books that came out at that time, aside from maybe what Larson and what McFarlane were doing and Silvestri and some of the other Image artists, like nobody was doing shit like this. So it was a big deal. This is one of those annoying-ass double-page spreads where it's like a centerfold. You have to hang it out. You have to hold it open like you're looking at a dirty magazine centerfold or something. But, dude, it's dope as fuck. And not to harp again on the Ed Piskor video, but, like, bruh, like they highlight the coloring. Lots of bright, vibrant, bold primary colors. Not something that was done at the time. There was a lot of drab colors in comics at the time. They didn't want to get too bright, too bold, too dynamic with the coloring at times. Not the case here. And you paint in those backgrounds, and it almost gets psychedelic at times. And no matter what the fuck you think about Rob Liefeld's work with anatomy or his exaggerated nature or his composition, which I think his composition is actually really strong. And I think that's one of the strongest bits, trying to understand what it is about Rob Liefeld that worked and captured so many people's imaginations. Part of it for this issue is the coloring, and part of it is that composition. That layout is, if somebody did that today, we would be like, definitely cool. It's Kirby-esque. It's something that was not done very often by many artists at the time. But I'll dare to say that Strife right there is dope as fuck. Thumbelina, not so much. But then this image of Feral, to me, always stood out to me in this issue. Even I remember this as a kid. Everybody talks about their favorite bits in this, like maybe that image of Cable right there gets stood out. I messed it up. That image of Cable right there with the gun gets stood out a lot. But that image of Feral, to me, really always captured me. Maybe it's because, for obvious reasons, but I think it's dynamic. It's got a lot of action to it. Look at the psychedelic nature of this color. Talking about the colors, look at the panel colors in the background. They're a computer screen, and it's a cheap way to get the background done by the colorist, but today they depend on colorists more so than inkers to get depth and depth and dimension in these comic book pages. But look at the beautiful colors there. Like this, it really does pop. It really frickin' does. And we can poke fun at the way Cable's leg is right there. Like it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. That's not what you're paying attention to when you're a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid. You're paying attention to the colors, the vibrancy, the energy, right? There's that shot of Cable that so many people love. And then I want to show this, a great shot of Domino. Boom Boom, I'm a big fan of, but look at Boom Boom's foot. Look at her right foot there. Look at the left foot. Look at the D. Yeah, it's awkward. But for some reason, when people think of this page, you don't think of that, right? And in the days, like, they were thinking, we got to sell original page art, and nobody wants a boring page. So every page has got to be exciting. And that's something that the Image guys brought in. So basically, X-Force shows up. They are in Antarctica going against the secret base of the Mutant Liberation Front, the MLF, led by Strife. Then we get this cut to Gideon, who has recruited and is grooming Sunspot to kind of be villainous like him. And we got G.W. Bridge with the inward buckling kneecaps there and awkward bend at the elbow. But aside from that, still a pretty powerful page. And I don't know why everybody wears their pants so tight in the crotch in Rob Liefeld's world. But G.W. Bridge is working with S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's like, oh, Cable's back. And then Cable is chilling, and he's revealing a little bit of his information. We didn't know a lot about Cable at this time. I don't even know if we knew that Cable was the son of Cyclops at this time. We definitely didn't know he had telekinetic abilities until he shows them off in this issue, and Domino's like, yo, you can't be showing this. X-Force doesn't need to know. So they're building on Seekers. They're building on some big reveals that are going to be coming in Executioner's Song. And then Black Tom's part of this boardroom meeting, and it's involving Gideon and Sunspot. And then G.W. Bridge talks to Nick Fury, and he's like, okay, we got to bring in Weapon X, which we know that means Kane. But it is the 30th anniversary of X-Force, so let's talk about it. So I got the copy right here. X-Force #1. I pretty much covered it. I really think that it was the layouts and composition, even if it was completely ripped off by Rob Liefeld. This is something that's prevalent in comic books, is prevalent in music, is covering somebody. But usually you have an after. He should have done that, to be honest with you. But, like, Cable looks goofy. There's so many parts of here that you can think look doofy. And they were pointing out that, like, he did these on a thumbnail and then enlarged them and then finished them inking. But it leads to some weird stuff. And they were talking about, kayfabe was, Ed Piskor and his partner, they were talking about, you can see that he's using marker to ink some of these bits. And Marvel at the time was notorious for bad bleed on their pages that they would send. And you can see that in the inking, especially on bits like Feral's hair right there. That's a marker. It's bleeding over, and you can visibly see it. I'll be honest. Overall, I pretty much like the issue. I think it's pretty solid. Not a lot happens, and you're not going to X-Force looking for an intricate story or intricate character development. You're just looking for good guys versus bad guys in a big slam bang WWE, or my bad at the time, WWF type of way. And Rob Liefeld and other creators in that era who eventually went on to create Image, they were able to latch on to something that other artists and other writers and editors were leaving out. And that was a popcorn factor. And for a popcorn factor, this book sells and soars. And it's better than Youngblood #1. And we'll get to that later on in a few weeks. But I think the book is pretty solid. X-Force #1, 30 years later, I think it holds up for what it was and what it set out to do. I think it set out to do it well. Rob Liefeld was a rock star. He was a rock star for a reason. We can laugh about it now, but there's a reason why this dude captured the minds of a generation. And I would overall give this 3.5 you digs out of 5. And that's Marvel in the 90s. All right, so there you go. X-Force number 1. We did it. We did it, yeah. Yeah, that's Boom Boom. That is Boom Boom. Whatever. They broke her fucking legs is what they did. It's fun to make fun of it, but like, I'll be honest with y'all. This is the year that I become a Rob Liefeld fan. I've already liked bits of his work. And this apparently a lot of his stuff that he did in New Mutants and in X-Force was a rejected pitch that he did for Teen Titans. Who cares? Morrison's rejected pitch for a Nick Fury Shield book became The Filth, which I think is way better than Marvel would have ever let a Nick Fury book be. So there you go. So there you go. X-Force 18 is when Cable learns that Cyclops is his father, says Mike. Yeah, that's during Executioner's song, right? Yeah, we didn't know that yet here. We didn't know that at all. We didn't even know he had telekinetic powers until this issue. This is slow burn. I'll be honest. Not a lot fucking happens in this issue. There's no character development aside from learning some more secrets. It is so soap opera. It is so 90s, but that's what I'm trying to say. We can joke about Rob Liefeld. That's fine. You can have any opinion you want. That's fine. He was a very important and influential creator of his time for a reason. But he took some shortcuts. But other creators that we love and respect took shortcuts too. I think Rob Liefeld's a lot better than we appreciate him for. All right, Mike with a correction. My bad. Cable issue 6 is when Cable learns that Cyclops is his dad. Oh, Cable number 6? Wow. And X-Force 18 is when Strife is revealed that Cable is a clone. Okay, Strife is a clone of Cable. Nice. Rob was a kid and he knew what kids wanted to see. Yeah. Rob's only like 10 years older than me. So, yeah, at the time he knew what I wanted to see. Bad paper at Marvel? Not back then. The bad paper was for the artist. The artists complained all the times that there would be bleed through. I do want to point out that there's an ad for the Marvel cards that we've been delving into in the first 6 and final 9. I like it. I mean, it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. I love this bit. Like, I hate these kind of centerfold things, but I like that one. Silvestri does one in New X-Men, by the way. I like that one, too. The coloring's pretty good, too, though. I don't know. I kind of liked revisiting it for the most part. It's not the best, but we gotta have an honest conversation about what Rob Liefeld really means for the industry sometimes, I think. Do you think Executioner's song will be a big deal in the future? I mean, no, I don't think it will ever be a bigger deal than it already was. I don't think it will ever be as big of a deal as it was in the 90s. It was a big fucking deal. Rockin Robbie loves the deep cuts to other YouTube content creators. Jim Rugg is Pisker's partner. Okay, cool. Jim Rugg. That was the first video of theirs I've ever seen. I honestly thought cartoonist kayfabe was somebody completely different. I didn't get it. I never understood that. But no, I really love. They did a really good video on X-Force number 1 that I watched this week. My automatic cat feeder just went off for my cat and just scared the fuck out of me, y'all. Just so you know. It's been doing that like 2 times a day. All those Image guys were rock stars. I remember shortly after they founded it, all of them got matching Vipers. I know. It was a big deal. By the way, you don't even know. Let's just say that a lot of the second half of PCP in 2021 will be devoted to Image Comics back in the day. I am developing a new appreciation, and it all started with my switching to be a Spawn fan overnight. If comics still had muscles that big nowadays, they'd sell more. I don't know about that. Maybe. Probably not. One of the reasons why this book sold so well, though, polybagged with 5 different cards. There were tricks that they did. X-Men #1 is the biggest selling comic of all time in America, and its ad is in the end here. X-Men #1 is coming. You know what? 6 different covers there, so took tricks. Comics sold very healthily back in the day, though, when kids fucking read them. Jeff says, the Image documentary is worth the watch. I think it's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on YouTube, too. Or last I saw it, it was on YouTube. Maybe it's gone now. But I used to think Strife was so cool looking, didn't give any thought to how illogical his costume was. Nobody did back then, bruh. That was the whole point. All right. Jumping from the 90s to the 80s, it's time for our top 5 tonight. And we've been going through the 80s year by year for my top 5 favorite movies. I'll be honest with y'all. I thought 82 was going to be the tough year. 82 has a lot of banger films, but they're kind of easy to rank for me. 85 was really fucking hard. But here we go. My top 5 of 1985. At number 5, I've got The Return of the Living Dead. This movie cracks me up. Plus, it is truly horrifying. So it's got great makeup, great effects, but it's got a great soundtrack, and it's funny. And it's just a fun ride. Linnea Quigley's in this film, as well as other great character actors, and just amazing performances all the way through, including Juana Man, who, don't forget, got killed while he was in the outhouse in Friday the 13th, New Beginning, which also came out in 1985. Didn't quite make the list. We're covering this on Dylan's Horror Show this upcoming Saturday night, as well as the 2 sequels after it. But Return of the Living Dead is a great, ramborious fun time. Ramborious? That's not a word. Next up, number 4, we got Reanimator. We talked about this a lot last year when we did Horror Fest. We covered it. It was the winner of the Let's Fuck Jay Strick Up poll. I love this film. Stuart Gordon, Brian Usna, Dennis Paoli, Richard Band, like the music, the acting, Herbert West portrayed by Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, Bruce Abbott. Everybody in this movie it cracks me up. You got John Kerry Jr., John Kerry's uncle, playing the villain, the head on the tray. It's a fantastic movie that's not for the easily offended. I'll tell you that. It pushes it a bit too far at times, but it is still, to me, to date, the best H.P. Lovecraft adaptation I've ever seen. At number 3, we got Day of the Dead, my favorite George A. Romero film. Day of the Dead, to me, blows Dawn and Night out of the water, and, of course, the rest. I love Night and Dawn, and it's unfair, I think, to compare them, but Day of the Dead is the one for me. I think it is Tom Savini's best work he's ever done as a makeup artist. I think it's an incredibly well-done script, and actually pretty decently performed for its low budget. I love the pace and build-up, and I've never seen a movie that's about zombies that's so heavy at first, and then gets heavy, dramatically, and then gets heavy again at the end with the gore and the violence. I absolutely love this film. It's about government paranoia, distrust, in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, and it's my favorite zombie film of all time, Day of the Dead. And John Harrison's score, it is one of my favorite horror soundtracks of all time. At number 2, I've got The Breakfast Club, because, come on, John Hughes, The Breakfast Club. When I was a kid growing up in the 80s, I didn't even know what high school was, but I thought a high school would be like The Breakfast Club. I thought it would just be a bunch of misunderstanding and different cliques and getting together and at the end of the day, learning that you're all part of the same thing and you all have the same problem and issues with your parents and authority. And guess what? High school was exactly what I thought it was because of The Breakfast Club. This movie is great. I think it's a wonderful study on a teenage zeitgeist of the time. John Hughes was somehow able to plug into that and completely understand it. And no, I don't think there's a truer film about what it means to be a teenager than The Breakfast Club. There are movies like Dazed and Confused that really hit what it's like to experience life as a teenager. But Breakfast Club really digs deep, and I think it's super, super cool. And at number 1, I got Back to the Future. I mean, I had to think about this one, to be honest. There's some banger films. Fright Night didn't make the list. Brazil didn't make the list. One of the reasons why is because Back to the Future was one of my favorite movies growing up, and it still is one of my favorite movies. The Power of Love was the first song I ever declared to be my favorite song of all time by Huey Lewis and the News, for a good reason. Seriously, Christopher Lloyd, what's his name? Oh my God. What's his fucking name? Marty McFly, what's his name? Michael J. Fox. Why did I stump on that? Great performances overall. It's just a fun movie. It's still fun to watch. It still holds up. It is hard to pick a top 5 from 1985. This is a baller-ass year. But let's do it again. At number 5, my top 5 for 1985 in film, The Return of the Living Dead. Number 4, Reanimator. Number 3, Day of the Dead. Number 2, The Breakfast Club. And number 1, Back to the Future. And all of that is based on the power of love. All right, y'all, we're at the end of the show now. We've had a great show. We've gone on so long, and I don't want to go for 4 hours tonight, but we are already definitely pushing that. So let me take another swig, right? What were your top movies? What'd y'all think? If you know, throw it out there. Paul likes Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's a great one. Have you considered reading Savage Dragon? Yes. I have an issue number 1. The problem is reading Savage Dragon, it's hard to get all the issues because some of them get very low print run. Same thing with Spawn. But it is what it is. If you got a top 5 of 1985, let us know. We're getting a show and tell. Speaking of Spawn, I finally picked up the Spawn Compendium, Volume 1, because in December we have Volume 2 coming. So I just wanted to go ahead and get it in print before Volume 2 came out. Let's see. Went to my local Second and Charles last week and found a really good deal on a great set that I didn't already have, and it's the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition on Blu-ray. Very excited. I still had only ever had the extended cuts on DVD. Last time I watched them on DVD. So now I get to watch them on Blu-ray. This is something I've really been looking forward to, watching on Blu-ray. And I got it for a really good deal. Like, super cheap. Like, I could not resist it. I could not avoid it. It would have cost me money to avoid it, is what I'm saying. Let's just say that. Spawn. Mike, the voice Matthews, always hooks us up with great figures. He just gave me this one. It's some kind of version of a Commando Spawn. I don't know exactly what year or when it came out, but it's pretty fucking dope, and I'm not going to complain. That's a great Spawn figure. Mike also gave me Spawn 3, baby. Spawn fucking 3 with the giant-ass wings. I remember this from when I was a kid and loved it. Spawn is cool, but what's cooler? When his wings fly the fuck out. I remember that it came in this long-ass box. And yes, I've got the bat right there. And I've got the owl. Woohoo, woohoo. And I got the board with the nail in it, but it's in the other room. But y'all, I always loved this figure when I was a kid. Always wanted it, never had it. It was in a box. I remember where it was like curled up like this or something because it was like this in this preposterously long-ass box. And Jamie one time came into my house after I got it, and she looks up and she goes, "Is that new?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "That thing's fucking huge." And it is. Like, look at that wingspan. It's dope as fuck. Speaking of Mike, Mike is just the best. Let's give him an official pause for station identification, y'all. Station for Mike the Voice Matthews. Because, y'all, we got to station Mike for this. Mike hooked me up with something that I thought I would never have. And that's Refractor. Oh, my freaking God, y'all. It's Refractor. So this is the Decepticon. 3 Decepticons that merge together to become the fucking camera. So it's a camera. And there's this little tripod. But it breaks apart and it's like 3. And this is the Earthrise Siege whatever the fuck edition. And it was like this limited edition thing. And Mike gave me his. Just gave me his. Now, like, it's a complex figure. It's 3 different ones together. Let's just transform one of them in a slight way. And I even got the little dude that goes... Dude, you have no idea. When I was a kid... I love the Transformers that look like real things, like Megatron that looked like a gun, and Soundwave that looked like a boombox, and Perceptor that looked like a microscope, and then Refractor. 3 different robots that came together to make a fucking camera. Super cool. These are great figures. Hasbro has done an amazing job with these. But these are 3 little different robots. Oh man, they're so badass. Like I've transformed them a couple different times. That's why I usually don't like to transform things when I unbox them. This was already unboxed, but I do have the original packaging and everything. But they're very intuitive about how to... But there's one of them right there. They all kind of look the same, but different colors. Dude, Refractor. I fucking have it. Thank you, Mike. Everybody station for Mike. He's just the fucking best. What else? Speaking of Spawn figures, got Sam and Twitch. Because why the fuck not, right? If you're going to get Spawn figures, get Sam and Twitch. There you go. And look, on the back of that Sam and Twitch, Spawn 3, baby. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, combo call time. I've been getting in my 90s. Y'all ready for this? Cyberforce 0. Mark Silvestri. Image goodness here. Cyberforce number 1. This is the original miniseries. Number 2. We didn't have these at my shop. If we did, they're buried in dollar bins. So I actually ordered these online. Number 3. Look at that. And number 4 with the foil embossed cover. Right? We didn't have this at my shop, so I had to order this too. But Tom Strong number 4. I'm rebuilding my Tom Strong collection. I needed number 4. I remember liking that issue a lot. Had to get it. This is for TM Nerdy. This is Youngblood number 2. Paid way more than I wanted to for this. Which wasn't much, but still way fucking more. And this is the first appearance of Prophet, but more importantly, Shadowhawk. So there you go. Also, our good friend Justin Richards just finished out his Kickstarter for A Silent Night. I got my copy in. Look at that. And he signed it to Rockin Robbie, Justin Richards 21. And he sent me a second copy that says, to the PCP Army Station, JR 21. So that means we're giving this one away. We'll be announcing that contest on Thursday night. So be there Thursday night. That was the Kickstarter. I did it, and I wanted to get a litho of the Leon Akangas work, and I really did love this. So there you go. Travis, Mike should be getting yours at his place, and we'll be sending yours with the exclusive that we'll be shipping out. So station to Justin Richards for sending us an extra copy signed to the PCP Army with the station on it. And we're going to be giving that away. So, hell yeah. What else do I got? That's all I got for show and tell. So now it's time for the final 9, everybody. Final 9 cards. And here we go. We are on the villains, and we're going to go into arch enemies. So, first up, Dr. Doom by Art Adams. Great card. Did you know? By the way, his intelligence is up to 6, but not 7. Maybe because he's not cosmically aware, I guess. But did you know Dr. Doom uses robot duplicates of himself that are so flawless that no one can tell the difference? I did know that. I really did. Next up, Loki. Speaking of talking low-key on Loki, it's Loki. Did you know That Loki is not as smart as Doctor Doom, apparently. But did you know Loki once used an enchantment to turn Thor into a frog? Yep. Red Skull. Look at Red Skull pimping out there. It's nice. Did you know the Red Skull's hideous appearance was only a mask, but is now a permanent result of exposure to his own dust of death? I did know that, actually. Now we're going into Arch Enemies. These are some really great cards that I love. Spider-Man versus Venom. Fantastic Four versus Skrulls. Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Silver Surfer versus Galactus. That's a good one. It's Ron Lim, looks like. Daredevil versus Elektra. That looks Art Adamsy. It does. And Avengers versus Kang. Is Kang showing up in the MCU? Yeah, we know that for a fact. But is he showing up in Loki? Who knows? Focus. Focus. Really? Out of all that, you don't want to focus on the Avengers? Really? What's going on? Come on. You're focused on all of them. There we go. Look at Moondragon. Anyway, that's the final 9. That's the show. Oh, we're supposed to open up Cyclonus? That's right. You know, we open up things in after hours. Post credits. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do want to, once again, say how much I appreciate you all being here on Sunday nights, and we're good for the next few bits. I know we've been taking weeks off here and there, but for the next few Sundays, we're going full on board. Join us tomorrow night for Comics Revisited at 7 p.m. Central Time. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time for the 6th anniversary stream. Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time for Cobra, kicking off Action Fest on PCP Movie Night, and at 6 p.m. Central Time on Dylan's Horror Show. Link in the description below. Sub up to Dylan. I return this week with a look at Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, and 3. By the way, Return of the Living Dead number 1 is part of my top 5 of 1985. So anyway, we're dipping out. We really do appreciate it. We love you. Station, everybody. Thanks for rocking with us. Have a good one. You're trying to enchant me. It won't work. All right, we promised it, so we're going to do it. Pulling it right off of the set here. And we're going to open up this Cyclonus. Cyclonus is basically the seeker of the 86 movie, right? So, let's fucking do it. Because these Transformer figures are dope. They're way better than the originals, in my opinion. That's why it's one of the few modern lines I will delve into. I also don't feel like I have to get every single one of them. But Cyclonus is dope as hell. We're not going to be able to transform him, obviously, tonight. But there he is, right there, open. Boom. Looks nice. Gotta do some cutting. Dun, 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 dun. Do more cutting. Is that everything? Oh, Jesus, come on. The fucking hands have their own twisty ties? So the arm, the elbow, and the hand. 3 different twisty ties for each hand. So there it is. This turns into a jet type thing. But there it is. We opened it, baby. It looks just like it's fucking supposed to. I mean, honestly. Articulation, yeah, okay, here we go. Now we're figuring out how to move it. Very good. That's why I like this line, is because the old school figures, they're neat, they're cool, they're nostalgic, but they shit for articulation, they don't move. Now, that's funny because I love the Toy Biz action figures, so I get it. But with my Transformers, I like this because it looks animated and it looks flawless and seamless with the transition to its alt mode. So, for instance, this one turns into that jet type thing, and I can rest assured you that next week I'll have it transformed for you. But there it is. Thank you all for the super chats. We really do appreciate everything. We love you. All right, it's time for a cereal review. I'm going to start giving you these in the after post credits. Apple Cinnamon Chex. I got to report to you on this because I don't know how long this is going to stay on shelves. But if you find this on your shelf at your local grocer, I advise you to pick up as many fucking boxes as you can because this cereal's fucking banging. This shit is so fucking good. Okay. First of all, we all know Chex. Chex is a boring cereal, okay? But they have added flavors, okay? And Chex has a brilliant texture. It always has. Rice Chex, corn Chex, wheat Chex, it doesn't fucking matter. That's why Chex Mix works. And Chex works in milk, especially sweetened with extra flavoring, which is something people have been doing. Now, by the way, don't put your Chex Mix in milk. I I don't know if that works. Where's shower sauce? Anyway, peanut butter checks, chocolate checks, cinnamon checks, honey checks. They've been doing these checks. They're really good. By the way, take honey checks and add in Lucky Charms Marbits, and you have your Spider-Man and Ninja Turtles Ralston cereals from the 80s or 90s. So, anyway, that being said, Apple Cinnamon Checks is fucking dope as shit. This stuff is so good. It has such a pure, real, yet still artificial, but still real apple cinnamon flavor. It was so delectable. And the way that Chex is made, it stays crunchy in milk for a long time. So whenever Chex nails a flavor, it's a 5 you digs. That's what this is. The Apple Cinnamon Chex gets 5 you digs for me. This is a perfect fucking cereal. Great flavor. Amazing texture. Crunch that lasts. This is what I look for in a cereal. I'm going to my shop as soon as I can and buying as many of these as possible, because usually when a cereal company like Kellogg's or General Mills or Post, but General Mills in this instance, usually when they just backwards ass land on a great idea, they usually ditch it very quickly. So buy as many of these as you fucking can, y'all. This shit is banging. It's balling. And Chrissy, is that John Legend's wife? I think it is. Chrissy has an apple crumble Chex Mix in the background that includes old-fashioned oats, all-purpose flour, brown sugar, cinnamon, sea salt, butter. That's the flavoring that you would put on there, because Chex Mix is more than just mixing Chex up with some shit. Right? But it also says Chex Mix, or the Chex cereal, apple cinnamon, apple chips, and lightly salted roasted almonds. That actually looks pretty fucking good. Oh, there's a dip for it. Chrissy tip. Gently warm a half of a cup of your favorite caramel sauce. Stir in 2 tablespoons of heavy cream until smooth. Pour over the mix. I'm making this shit. 5 you digs. Buy that shit up right now. Buy it up right now. All right, seriously, y'all need to go onto the PCP Army and find the post by Twitch for the Team Dog Shades Night official PCP Army playlist on Spotify and YouTube. He does a great job putting these together. He puts in work, and those playlists are dope. So y'all need to check them out. So Team Dog Shades, go ahead and do that. I was supposed to also let you know throughout this entire fucking stream, but I forgot. But I feel like we had a good show. But there's an Action Fest poll about to go live on the PCP Army, and it's a Keanu Reeves-centric poll. So we got 6 movies on this poll. You're about to be going over to PCP Army and vote. And this is the final poll for Action Fest. All Keanu Reeves-centric. The movies on the poll are Speed, Point Break, which I hope you vote for. Vote for Point Break. Johnny Mnemonic. By the way, if you don't vote for Point Break, vote for Johnny Mnemonic, okay? Chain Reaction, Street Kings, and 47 Ronin. So Speed, Point Break, Johnny Mnemonic, Chain Reaction, Street Kings, and 47 Ronin. Vote for Point Break or Johnny Mnemonic. We're doing a taste test. So Mike, the voice Matthews, hooked me up with these Pringles Wavy Pineapple Habanero chips. Crisps, actually, because you can't call Pringles chips. They're crisp. There's this whole legal thing. So we're going to open these up fresh. I've had these. He gave them to me a couple weeks ago. But I wanted to do this on a live stream like I did the other chip he gave me. So let's do it. It smells like shitty-ass sauerkraut. I'm going to be honest with you. The can, as soon as I opened it, smelled like the shittiest fucking sauerkraut I've ever had. Smelled like kimchi. Oh, it smells so bad. Okay. So pineapple habanero. Obviously, I like habanero flavor. I like spicy. Pineapple and spicy, I don't know. We'll see. One crisp. They're wavy. They add that texture. Let's try it. Not bad. Not bad at all. You know, the last chip he gave me was the Lay's BLT. And it was a little odd. It was like 2 on the nose. This is something. Okay, first reaction. I get a little bit of pineapple. I love that they don't go too heavy into the sweetness. I appreciate that. Spice and the sweetness have a nice balance. To call this spice habanero, to me, is quite shitty. Like, it's kind of very misleading. Let's try 2. Okay. The spice is there. Sweetness is there. It's very subtle on both ends. The potato comes over both of those. That being said, it's a very nice balance of the 2 flavors, but there's not enough to identify those 2 flavors. So overall, out of 5 possible you digs, I would give this 3.5. Same rating I would give Fist of Fury. 3.5. Not quite there, but just enough there to be enjoyable, to be honest with you. It's an enjoyable chip. But when I see something that says habanero, I expect it to be habanero, and it ain't. You could have called this spicy pineapple. You could call this pineapple jalapeno. It would have been better. I just spit a whole bit of this on my F12 key. Anyway, that literally is the show tonight. Y'all check it out. Let me know if I'm wrong. Y'all, I'm serious, y'all. You got to buy this. Buy this. This shit's so good. Buy this. Buy it. Anyway, we are literally out. Y'all, thank you so much. We're humbled. Station. Lots coming up this week. We hope to see you tomorrow night for Comics Revisited.